Today's episode of What Happened When is brought to you by SaveCade.com. That's SAVECADE.com. But instead of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes throwing that bionic elbow to Ric Flair, what are they going to find there at SaveCade.com? Tony Schiavone?
They are going to find the best way that we know, that best way that anyone know to save money. Fast, easy, save immediately, lower your monthly payments, Conrad, skip your next two house payments, pay off your house faster. Pay off your house faster. That's right. You can pay off the house faster, own a home with no money down. It's all at SaveCade.com. That's SAVECADE.com. Am I right?
That's exactly right. If you're a renter, after all these payments, what have you got to show for it? Stop throwing your money away. Go to SaveCade.com. We'll get you in a house, and your new house payment, it'll be roughly or less than what you've been paying in rent. You can even do it without saving up a big down payment. How's nothing down sound? You don't need perfect credit to do this either. We can hook it up at SaveCade.com. Maybe you've got credit card debt. We can help you knock that out too. Maybe you just want to pay your house off faster, like Tony talked about. We can help you restructure some of your debt to get out of debt faster and at the same time cut years off of your loan. If you have a mortgage right now, ask yourself, how old am I going to be when I pay my house off? If you don't know the answer, you haven't done enough planning, you need to go to SaveCade.com right now. That's SAVECADE.com. And you're not going to go to some strangers. You're going to First Family Mortgage and me, Conrad Thompson. Talk to you soon. NMLS number 65084, Equal Housing Lender.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett, First Arcade, 605 NWA, TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede, Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team, Turner, Barton, Mid-South Joy World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North they win, look, Schiavone's back again, World title split off, center stage, Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro, New World Order, and The Crow, Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh, lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan, Thompson's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chant, Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when?
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When with Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Conrad, I am so excited.
What?
I'm so excited about this show. Chi-Town Rumble. Chi-Town Rumble. You know, I was at the WWF at that time, looking from Connecticut, looking down on the people in Atlanta and laughing. Ho, 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 ho. Another shitty WCW NWA show. And then I watch it again and I think, you know, it wasn't that shitty. But that was just my arrogance being up in Connecticut at that time.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm pretty excited about today because this is one of the more iconic shows. And the reason we're choosing to watch it today is because, believe it or not, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, today's the 30-year anniversary of this match, which has been regarded as one of the best of all time and earned 5 stars in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. And Dave Meltzer is all over this, but people are still talking about this match 30 years later as if it was one of the greatest matches there ever was. And of course, you weren't there because you were calling fucking Ultimate Warrior matches instead. So looking forward to today.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. And I have a lot of questions about this show. Now, first of all, did the show itself get 5 stars, or are we talking about Steamboat and Flair only?
Well, the Wrestling Observer from 89 is not posted in the archives, so I don't know for sure what all the match ratings for this one were, but I do know that this was a 5-star match, and you'll see it written on Dave's face because he's ringside.
Oh, well, that's great. That's wonderful.
Well, let's do this though. Let's give a countdown
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything we want to say or acknowledge before we do a countdown today or no?
Yeah, I think we should acknowledge Lois Schiavone. She sent me a text and said, "Do not mention me in your podcast." And I went, too fucking bad. She has been under the weather. She's been in the hospital. And she is actually, as we talk right now, Conrad, she's doing fine. So she's not going to be here to give us a countdown today. But I just want to let her know that, and I know I speak for everybody, especially the people on Patreon who just have flooded our Patreon account with well wishes for Lois, that she appreciates everybody's love and well wishes. And she's kicked out. She's going to be back. Thank God she's going to be back, because I'm tired of feeding these dogs, and I'm tired of having to clean up the kitchen, and I'm tired of having to do things.
Well, I mean, in fair, listen, I want Lois to have a speedy recovery, and thoughts and prayers for your whole family. And I'm pulling for Lois to, feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but if it's still Lois coming back, there's probably not going to be a lot of cleaning, right?
Yeah, well, she feeds the dogs. Okay.
Oh, it's the hair that she struggles with. I got it. Okay.
It's hard. I mean, she will feed the dogs. She'll wipe down the kitchen, and then she'll get on her phone and look at Facebook for about 4 hours until Rush Limbaugh comes on. Then she listens to him, and then she goes back to her Facebook for about another 4 hours. That's her day, and that's fine. I mean, she can do what she wants. But I have to get up early and feed the dogs now.
Do they have Facebook in the hospital?
Oh, well, she's got her phone.
Oh, so she hadn't missed a beat. She's probably good.
Oh no, she's been laying there in the bed just, and she was when this first started, she was very, very ill, very sick, a lot of pain. But now she's fine, and we're expecting her to get out any day. So we're ready to go with her. If you're ready, if everybody is ready,
yeah, I guess we should tell everybody what the fuck we're talking about. February 20th, 1989, the WCW Chi-Town Rumble is what you need to look up in your WWE network. We just jumped right into calling it Chi-Town Rumble, but it is in fact a WCW show, February 20th, 1989. I was so focused on, hey, are we going to acknowledge Lois or not? I forgot to do that. So hopefully you found us now and you're all caught up like we are here on the WWE network. And Tony, I think it's only fitting that you take it away.
Hold it. Grab your pants and stop the presses. I'm back. I'm here. Nothing can keep me down. I am the almighty Lois, and I rule. And for the record, Tony was cleaning up his own messes, as he should. Don't feed him any lines, Conrad. He's guilty as charged. I do my part. He does his part. Cut me some slack. Now, you want your countdown? Here's your countdown. 3, 2, 1. Wait. I'm not through. Don't ever try to replace me with a secondary sideshow clown of a countdown. You got me? I have to be dead before I can't do the countdown. To all my fans and all my well-wishers, I thank you, and I will do the countdown. 3, 2, 1, play.
We open up with your basic Turner bringing in the slides of the big stars who will be participating in the event tonight. And, of course, it all culminates with, is that a right word? Ricky Steamboat and the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Welcome to Chi-Town Rumble 89. And we're coming to you, ladies and gentlemen, from the beautiful UIC Pavilion in downtown Chicago. And your host for this show, quite a broadcast team of Magnum TA and Jim Ross. Fans here were pretty excited about it. And I want you to, as you see a shot of these fans, I want you to point out Dave Meltzer when you see him here.
Well, he's front row across from the hard cam. You'll be able to see him pretty easily. What'd you think of the job Magnum did when he was out of the ring and instead in the booth?
Well, I thought he was still Magnum TA as far as his, Magnum was over because of not only his look and not only the way he could work, but the way he always looked at the camera and always talked and was serious and got the point across. He did. I thought he did a good job of being a legit color guy here. There was no sizzle. There was no entertainment value to this as far as like a Jesse Ventura or a Bobby Heenan, but it was Magnum TA being Magnum TA. So I thought it was fine.
Well, here we are with JR. Of course, JR was the voice of this Rick Steamboat, Ric Flair trilogy in '89.
Is this considered, let me ask you this, and I will get into it as we go along, but is this considered, right now, here's what they're doing, and this is something unusual. I mean, a JR just is talking about each match, setting up each match, and having Magnum TA comment on it, which is just simple. I mean, just you comment on the matches, nothing fancy, just comment on the anticipation. But is this considered the Ricky Steamboat, and Ric Flair greatest match of all time, of all of them?
Everybody debates which one their favorite one was. For years and years, my favorite was the second one, which was the Clash of the Champions that went heads up with WrestleMania and the Superdome in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But then as I got a little older, I've thought that maybe the last one where Terry Funk is involved after the match in Nashville was the best one. But Jim Cornette, I believe, and certainly Rick thinks that of the three, this is the best one. And it's funny because I had the privilege of watching this match with Rick. Rick had never watched it all the way through.
Oh, wow.
Until 5 or 6 years ago. And we watched it all the way through. And check out this package here.
Yeah.
The Road Warriors coming to the ring. That was a cool look. You guys had the lights like you like it. And
yeah, it was a cool look. And the Road Warriors were big time over at this time. And this was just a little package to feature the stars that you're going to see and some of the matches that you're going to see here at Chi-Town Rumble, which is, it's kind of if you think of the way they do production now, this is almost like it should have been the open of the show.
No,
to me, it's an awkward position to put this in. You see now the way they do production today, you see that they'll put a video package at the end of a show and just kind of show the highlights of what happened. But this is kind of to me, this is like just doing another open of the show. And
I totally agree. Maybe they thought they needed something to bring the energy up after the stand up with JR.
Right.
But Barry Windham rocking the one glove will never get old to me. That was such a cool look.
Oh yeah. That's throwback, a nod to his father.
I know that's blasphemous for me to say this, but I grew up on the Stan Lane version of the Midnight Express. So it's still my favorite.
Right. Right. And I was, and as I go back and remember this, I didn't realize that Stan, there's our buddy Michael Hayes. I didn't realize that Stan had been a member of the Midnight Express so early. I thought he came much, much later, but he did not come much, much later. He came, with 87, 88, something like that.
And they're starting to see some clips spurred in now of Steamboat and Flair.
Yeah.
But man, how great did Bobby Eaton look back then?
Oh, Bobby could do all kinds of shit, man. All kinds of stuff. I just absolutely loved him. And of course, as we now know,
lots of shots of Ricky Steamboat and his son.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever know Richie as an adult?
No, not at all. Did he wrestle?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a little while there where he was actually in NXT, and for whatever reason it didn't work out. But what if it would have? Wouldn't that have been something? I think that was. Oh my gosh! Look at it. Tell us what Michael Hayes is going to say here. Of course, in the back with Bob Caudle.
Well, I'd like to tell you something, Bob Caudle. On my back is the Stars and the Bars of Dixie. Now, in 2016 or 2017, even up 2019, Michael P.S. Hayes will not be able to wear shit like this. But I'd like to tell you, people say that I have a little combination of, a rock and roll star and a big old fat bozo clown. But let me say that I'm not. And let me say I'm going to go out here and I'm going to win this match. You know what I'm saying, Bob Caudle? You got anything to drink? You don't have anything to drink? That's okay. My friend Conrad's got something to drink. He always has something to drink. And let me say, Bob, nod at me when you're talking. Here, Michael P.S. Hayes by himself is better than any free bird, dead or alive. Absolutely. I'm going to count on my fingers the many times that I've told Vince that he's the man. 1, 2. I've told him a million times, Vince, you're the man. I'm looking for a job here. And I know that one day, Michael P.S. Hayes, is going to be one of the insiders, going to be one of the big stars, be one of the big front office guys in the WWE. And you know how I know? Because I'm a yes man. That's what I am, Bob Cotto, a yes man. Vince says, you like this tub of shit? I like this tub of shit. You like me to piss on your head? You can piss on my head. I love it because I'm a yes man. Whoa. And that's Michael P.S. Hayes. Let's go back to the ring.
Oh man.
I don't know if he said that or not.
What do you think of this entrance setup here?
I like it.
It's kind of primitive, but it's kind of cool. 4 lights above and then a rack of lights on either side for multicolor. And here he comes himself prancing to the ring, Mr. Doot, Doot, Doot. You know, I know that, we know the rebel flag is a totally different thing now, but for back in the day, that was a fucking cool robe, was it not?
Oh, you damn right it was.
I mean, especially if you were working like the Southern territories, the Georgias and the Floridas, and man, I bet that thing was over like Rover. I mean, these days, of course, we'd have to burn that motherfucker, but still.
Oh my God. Would you take a look at this? Lady Blossom. No, not Lady Blossom. What was this girl's name?
You think he still does that? Yeah, he does, of course.
Really?
You've been to his house. He walks around his house that way.
I know. Bad
just randomly
street,
pointing at the sheetrock.
Street in the whole USA.
Oh my God. Why did I never think of this? I just had $1 million idea. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
They had a whole, who's he managing here?
This is David Shelton, I believe. A Russian assassin #1.
I like that it's David Shelton just based on his nipples.
Well, he was always like the Russian assassin, and Dave by this time he wasn't as big as he used to be, as far as upper body and strength and everything. But Michael just shucking and jiving. So give me your $1 million idea here.
All right, so they did a Legends house years ago in WWE where they took all these old legends and made it like a reality show where they were all stuck in this house together for like a month and filmed it, right?
Right, yeah.
What if we did a Southern wrestling Legends house and we put guys like Tommy Rich and Michael Hayes, just locked them up together, but instead of it being some random house, it was at Michael's house.
Oh,
and he was giving everybody the free bird rules, and those rules would change every day. Dude, that's a great idea. I'm going to pitch that.
Yeah, you should.
Somebody say something about Jaeger.
I'll have another. Who else would be in this Southern house? I mean, Michael Hayes.
Ricky Morton.
Morton. Okay.
Tommy Rich.
Michael
Hayes. Tracy Smothers.
Bobby Fulton.
All right. Bobby Eaton. Yeah. Oh. And the instigator of all. Are you ready?
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't think of this. Jim Cornette. If Jim Cornette and Michael Hayes are there, it's going to be fucking fun.
Oh my God. There it is. And that's why you are who you are, my friend. That's why you are who you are.
I might start doing TV shows instead of fucking conventions.
Yeah. Idea. You're an idea guy. You're just an idea guy. Dusty used to be an idea guy. And he was one. Kevin Sullivan was an idea guy.
That's a heck of a compliment. I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Pat Patterson was an idea guy. Bruce Pritchard was an idea guy. Don't
you put that on me?
What? But now it's Conrad Thompson. So, Michael knows how to play to the crowd. Paul Jones was in his day a fine wrestler. He really was. Paul was never the greatest talker in the world. But Paul could work a match, man. He could work heel or babyface. And I remember being growing up in Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling and watching Paul Jones and thinking, man, he's not that good. I listen to his interviews on TV and thinking not that good, but then I go to a house show or something, and man, he put on a hell of a match. Either way, so there was a guy that really got over because of his work.
I never saw him. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Interesting that the referee that you're seeing in here is not one of our regular referees. This is, I guess, one of the Illinois State Sports Commission referees that they had to use at that time.
I was wondering if you knew that young man.
Mm-mm. No, but you can tell by the patch on him that he is a member of the. And you would have to do that. You would have to, basically, with sport back then. I don't know how they are now, but back then, sports commissions were just a handout company. They just got there so they could get their money. And so you had to do something to kind of give a nod to the sports commission or let them know that you were falling in line. And you would do that by letting their guy maybe referee an early match. They would never put him in like Steamboat or Flair or something like that in the main event. But knowing that Michael Hayes basically is just putting on a arm bar here and looking to the crowd, and that's kind of all he's been doing for the last 5 or 6 minutes. It's easy. You can just put anybody in to referee this match.
I feel like you're sort of shitting on Michael's wrestling ability.
Listen,
here a little bit.
You know how I feel about Michael Hayes. God, I love him. I do.
Okay.
One of the great personalities in the business, and I give him shit all the time. And I remember with I think I've mentioned this before, but I was backstage recently for SmackDown when they were in Atlanta recently, last year sometime. And I said, somebody go get Michael. I want to see him. And I was back where the producers were, and Michael walked in looking as only he can look, I might add. And he looked at me, he said, "Oh, fuck you, I hate you." And he walked away, which I thought was funny. And I said, "No, you don't. Come back here."
And here's the thing. When he says, "Oh, fuck you, I hate you," and walks away,
yeah,
like he really leaves. He sells it all the way. Like it's not like he takes 2 steps and turns around. No, he leaves.
Oh, I know.
You're just left to wonder, what the fuck did I do?
No, and he's one of those characters in wrestling that I'm really, really happy that I got to know. Not only on a professional level, but a personal level too, because he's a lot of fun. So there, and look at that, man! Did you see that leap? Holy shit! Wonder if he can leap like that now over somebody. Oh man, arm drag takedown. Yes, sir. Michael Hayes doing a little. See, man, Michael, is he blowed up already? You think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a couple of moves right there, and he had to get down on one knee here and take a deep breath there, Michael. There you go. That's what you get for smoking them Camels. What? Looking around. So this is the opening bout of Chi-Town Rumble. We got the Road Warriors coming up here. We've got Kevin Sullivan and Dr. Death Steve Williams coming up here. And of course, Steamboat and Flair. 2.5 hour show, which, the show's got a little bit longer after that, about 2:45 to 3 hours. But what do you think of this look? Now, here we are in the era of lighting the crowd, showing the crowd. I don't know what the actual attendance figure was this back then. This was a smaller venue. This was not the size of, let's say, and of course the United Center wasn't around at that time, but Chicago Stadium where the Bulls played at that time, or the Rosemont Horizon. But this thing I think was probably pretty full, but they still made it very dark.
No, but I like that. And I know me and you just disagree because you like to light the crowd. And I know that that's certainly very modern, but I think, having it a little darker to where, by the way, that's Dave Meltzer in a yellow shirt with like a little afro looking. I mean, he's got like the full curly Q deal in the front row.
Oh my God. I'm sure they're going to play up to him.
Right. He's right in front of Paul Jones. He's seated right there. His head just popped out. Anyway.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
I like this. All the lights just on the ring. It's dark around it. It makes it feel more, special, I guess. I don't need the crowd to be lit for me to get excited. Like, I like this where you just see like the shadows of the concourse in the back and the lights above it. It has more of a big time old school feel to me, like, a Muhammad Ali boxing match or something.
Sure. It's the way it used to be done. And I get it. JR, and I always thought he was right about this. JR hated to light the crowd. He always used to say, "God damn, you light the crowd, they sit on their hands." He said they're louder and they're more vocal they're rowdier when they're in the dark than if they're all lit. And I think that has some validity to it, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that if you're all lit in the crowd, everybody can see you, and you're not as willing to go crazy and cheer. And that may be one of the reasons that, I mean, you go back to the day like this, and even earlier, back in the early 80s, and we had big events, the crowds were rabid, and you didn't have to sweeten them because they were so loud and they were so into it. And now these days, the crowd is lit, and the crowd itself is almost, well, it is a part of the show. Listen, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Darken it. Paul Jones. Paul passed away last year. I think we ought to probably say something too here. Here's the cover first. 1, 2, look at that referee. We need to say something here about the passing of Pedro Morales, who was a great WWF champion. I say that because he was one of WCW's Spanish announcers.
Oh, so you knew him?
Oh, yeah, very well. He and Miguel Alonso. And everybody called him Petey. And one of the
like Petey Pablo?
No.
Sorry, I don't mean to.
Okay. Everybody called him Petey or Pete. One of the genuine nice guys. And I would spend time with he and Miguel a little bit about storylines and everything. Just always smiling, always friendly. And I understand he had Parkinson's, and he battled through that in his later years, and we're going to miss him. He was a good guy, man. Good guy with us all the big shows in WCW back in the day. So if you listened to the Hispanic broadcast, you listened to he and Miguel Alonso back, during the run of the NWO. I see Meltzer.
I like
it's like, well, where's Waldo? Where's Dave? Michael Hayes getting the fans pumped up here.
I guess, this is, well, it's not a good match.
But hey, man, let's put this on first and let's have some excitement.
I mean, that's really sort of what I don't get. I mean, just a handful of years after this, with the help of Eric Bischoff, you guys would sort of crack the code. And man, every WCW show started with one hell of a match. That was not the case here.
Exactly. Well, you know who the booker was here, don't you?
No.
This was a George Scott production.
Oh, okay.
And this was like probably one of his last ones. Or maybe one of his first ones. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's, because I had just left basically in February of 1989. I was just getting acclimated. Here's a story. I was living in Connecticut, and the family was still in Charlotte. They didn't move up till April, but I was living in Connecticut, and I was hanging out with Bruce Pritchard every night. How about that? Eating food, getting drunk, working late. And I'm thinking, man, this is the life here, buddy. So, yeah, this is George Scott booking right here. And maybe, because Steamboat and Flair did a lot of work with George Scott back in the day, back when Steamboat and Flair first started. Maybe that's one of the reasons this match was so good. But then again, there's been people that tell me, and I don't know if this is true or not, because I only worked with George maybe like a week or a couple of months. People tell me that George Scott was a good booker because he always let the guys plan their own match.
I've always heard that George Scott was a good booker.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't know that that's, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck do I know? But I'm just
right. Well, but I've heard that George Scott would tell Steamboat and Flair,
you got this long. Go have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, it's funny because, golly, I don't want to turn this into a commercial, but when I started thinking about StarCast 2, I thought, man, what can we do bigger? What can we do better? What would be a cool, unique experience? And one of my favorite things I ever got to do as a wrestling fan was watch this match we're going to watch today with Rick, and him sort of let you know what he was thinking when he was thinking it and how it came together, and and him just watching something, and then he would get tickled and start laughing and say, "Oh, I remember that spot. We did that in such and such town one time, and this happened." And all those little moments that you sort of get to, it's almost like when you're watching NFL and you see John Gruden with a quarterback and they're breaking down film together. That's kind of fun. And so we're going to do that at StarCast, and we've got Steamboat and Flair, and JR is going to moderate it, and who better since he was there. And we'll have the actual real big gold belt that they were challenging for that night. And it'll be a really cool experience. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm glad that you and I get a chance to watch it here, because this is a show that you weren't there for, but it's still an iconic WCW show.
It sure is. And nothing gets us prepared for it better than this shit match we're watching right here. I mean, I'm just right now, I'm just ready to fast forward to it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
But again, this is George Scott booking. Hey, it's the opening match, get two guys, get them over, forget about this, have a great match at the beginning of the show type thing.
To me, Michael Hayes should always be in a tag team.
Oh yeah.
Let him, come in and get the heat, but then you got to have some little Buddy Roberts motherfucker running around somewhere.
Well, come on. It's the Freebirds, right?
Right.
I mean, let's think of how great the Freebirds were.
And that's why, because it was the best of everything. You had a big bully badass ass kicker. Then you had another guy who could talk his ass off and, who was cool. And then you had a third guy who, when it was time for the baby faces to get their revenge, well, who did a better job making them look good than Buddy?
Right. Exactly. So this match has been going on 15 minutes or so, maybe more. 20 minutes.
It feels like we started at Tuesday.
Yes. And right now it's somewhere around Sunday afternoon. But we can't, look, we can't deny that these two guys are really working pretty hard. I mean, they are. I mean, they're doing the absolute best they can. And I appreciate that. I really do. I mean, think about this. Michael Hayes is going to wrestle the Russian Assassin. I don't know if there was any storyline between the two at this time or not. Probably not. And they're told, you got to go out there and give us 20 minutes. They're probably thinking, what the fuck are we going to do? Right?
Right.
We'll just do the best we can do. And hell, Michael's kind of laying them in right there. Oh, Michael. All right. Think we got to finish coming here. There you go. Thank God. Bulldog. Come on, Mike. Covering. Holy shit. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Woo. Woo. Well, dun, 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 dun. Further down the block, you got the shittier the match got. Dun, 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 dun. Here he goes. And look at that circular fly in there. And let's take a look one more time. The Russian Assassin dips down, but no. Michael says, I'll do it like we used to do it back in World Class. Baby, down you go there, fallen angel. Angel of Death, or whatever you call it. Here's a cover. Hook that big leg. Put the leg up for me. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Yeehaw. Dave Meltzer goes crazy at ringside. And Michael Hayes is your winner. Well, there you go, Conrad. A hot open, huh? Way to start the match.
I think he went crazy at ringside because it was finally over.
Right. Oh, would you take a look at this? Take a look at this. There's little Ricky, and there's Rick, and there is Bonnie.
Come on, give us a Bonnie story.
No, I don't have a Bonnie story. I just wondered if she wrote this for him.
Oh, well, that's sort of the rap on it. Everybody just, well.
Yeah. She was known as a very dominating person, maybe. Maybe she was more involved in his career than most women were at that time.
If she weren't around, would Ricky have had a bigger career?
I think there's probably some validity to that. If she wasn't around, I don't think he'd be holding little Ricky right now. But this is a real babyface thing to do, though, don't you think? Look at him tugging on that microphone.
Without question.
Yeah, she was known as I don't know how to put it. No, not an instigator. I just I don't know. Oh, a peanut head.
Oh, peanut head.
I'm going to be a referee here. Are we going to go another freaking 20 minutes here? We didn't even show a Sting entrance. Sting and Hacksaw Butch Reed.
You know, Butch Reed was over in Florida.
Yeah. He looked pretty good here. Look at that, man. Big upper body. Yeah, man. Motherfucker go push back and forth. Sting picks him up, and this is... Yeah, keep in mind that this is... and this is kind of what Hiro Matsuda there with Hacksaw Butch Reed.
So we're like, what do you think? Maybe 7-8 months before the debut of Doom, probably. Well, you weren't there, but I think they're still they're shy of a year here before Butch Reed is one half of Doom under the hoods.
Yeah. And let me, here's a thought about booking and about, how you do things. So we've mentioned that George Scott was the booker at this time. In a year prior to this, with Dusty as the booker, Sting was in the main event against Ric Flair. And now here he is in the second match against Butch Reed. They didn't even have an entrance for him to show you the fan response. And so maybe, just maybe, that George Scott didn't think as much of Sting as Dusty did. It's kind of surprising, really, if you think about it. Think about all the guys who are stars in this. You got Windham coming up against Luger. You got the Road Warriors coming up in the World Tag Team title. You got the World Television title coming up, and here is Sting on the second match on the card. If you think about this, this is something that you think would happen earlier than 1988.
Right.
But here it's happening a year later after he made a name for himself in that famous Clash of the Champions. So it's kind of interesting. Maybe they just didn't have anything for him to do.
You don't think?
I don't know. Hey, and I look, he looks good. He's tan. Eric would have loved him here. So interesting. Just it's interesting to try to get into the mind of bookers, isn't it? To what they're thinking about.
It is.
Yeah. It really is.
Without question.
Without question.
Sorry.
So how's our buddy Bruce doing? How's things going with what's the name of your podcast with him again?
Something to Wrestle.
Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. Yeah. How's he been doing? Okay.
Good.
Good.
Having record downloads.
I'm sure you are.
I don't know how people are still finding the show, but they are, and
yeah, it
tickles me to see. When someone's like, "Oh, I just discovered the podcast 3 months ago," and then they share like how many hours they've listened to in the last 3 months, and I'm like, "Your brain's rotten by now."
Well, it is set the standard for wrestling podcast.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Oh yeah, it has. And certainly you and he have gone out and gone live and done your shows, and it's been great. And
well, hang on now. We're watching the Chi-Town Rumble, and I'm pretty sure me and you and Eric are going to be at the Chi-Town Rumble.
Well, we're going to be coming up in Chicago very soon, aren't we?
We are indeed.
Yeah. C2E2.
Yep. The rumor and innuendo is that you're going to be there. I'm going to be there. Eric's going to be there.
Yeah.
Do some meet and greets, and then our live show together. What are you expecting a show with Eric Bischoff to be like? You've told me once before that keep me away from that motherfucker.
Whoa,
He
whoa.
He was
I
my
never-
boss, and I don't like him.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you're a shit disturber, and sometimes you're just a lying motherfucker.
No, that's real. When I
No.
first started the podcast with him, you said, keep me away from that motherfucker. And now you're backing up on it. So let your nuts hang, big man. What's going on?
I never said that. You lying fucking cocksucker.
Oh my gosh. Why are you using this language? This language.
Sorry. You are fibbing.
My
You-
goodness.
Nice young man, you.
Thank you.
Okay. You're fibbing. Anyway, so looking forward to this. And you know what? I know it's a C2E2 is like a big comic convention.
Yeah.
I'm going to I have my checkbook or I have my credit card, and I'm going to have a couple of bags, and I'm going to get me some Batman stuff.
Well, they're doing a Clueless reunion that weekend. So I find it funny that we're going to be talking about WCW.
Yes. It'll be Clueless Part 2.
That's it. We can roll the credits. I'm not going to beat that one this week.
Wow. So I look forward to that. That's coming up in the month of March. We'll be there. I'm looking forward to that.
The 23rd, in fact.
23rd of March. Wow. In Chicago. Very excited. Actually, I'm very excited about seeing you in person again. We haven't really, seen each other in person in quite a while.
Well,
Lois, hopefully you'll be better that time, and she'll be joining me as well.
I talked to somebody yesterday who told me that the guest list is quite extensive.
Yeah.
And when I said how many people, and they said the number, and let me just say it's hundreds. I said, holy shit, that must mean they even invited Tony Schiavone. And sure enough, they did.
Yeah, I've talked to some people that I was shocked that they were inviting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's how we got started on the conversation. They said, did you know so-and-so's coming? And I was like, what the fuck for? And then I was like, well, goddamn, if they're coming, Tony Schiavone's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the dress code anyway?
I just had a conversation about that. And, let me just tell you, I'm going to wear slacks and I'm going to wear a blazer, but I'm not wearing a suit. Not me.
Yeah.
Not me. Not me. I'm just going to rock the, sport coat and slacks. That's going to have to be good enough for,
Yeah.
Oh, there's at least, I know for sure there's 8 people there you do not want to see.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe I'll get drunk and challenge a couple of them.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome.
Man, we'll roll on videotape, put it on Patreon.
I was fixing to say, if you're going to start scrapping, first of all, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to have our cameras charged and ready to go.
Yeah.
That's number 1. But number 2, we're going to send the bat signal to like Jay-Z, Flair, and Bad Money Slim. And they're going to do a run in.
The bat signal.
You like that?
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah, those 2 bald guys come in.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Back me up. In reality, if she was 100%, I know Lois won't be 100% by that time, but she can kick some ass too. I mean,
Like, just so we're clear, we're talking about, I just want to make sure we're talking about this. Right.
Okay.
And you're planning, we're planning fights right now.
no, I'm not planning fights. I'm preparing in case there's a fight. I'm not planning one.
Okay.
Okay. And you've got to be prepared. 2 things you got to be prepared about. When you walk out of the house, you got to be prepared for someone to try to fuck you in the ass.
Oh,
That's number 1.
oh,
And number 2, when you go to a public setting with your friends, you got to be prepared for someone to want to fight. I mean, that's kind of the things, growing up in the mountains of Virginia that we live by.
the mountains of Virginia, he says.
Yeah. And I just, you know how it is when you grow up and you grow up. You don't know how it is when you grow up in the mountains of Virginia, but
No, I don't.
you just. But things that in your youth that you were taught when you were young have stuck with you throughout your life. Son, don't let anybody, roll you over a sink or anything like that. Number one, and number two, if somebody wants to scrap, don't you back down. And those were kind of the two of the many rules that we lived by back then. But hey, that was back in the 60s and 70s, long before you were born.
But hang on now.
Okay.
You thought that maybe somebody's going to challenge you here?
No. I don't think anybody is. You just always got to be prepared.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm ready.
God damn. I got you. Oh man, I got Conrad. You know what? Wow.
I'm flying over though, so I can't fly weapons.
Oh, well, don't worry. There'll be weapons when you get there.
I'll be coming in from New York. I thought you were going, but you're not. So I'm
Yeah.
coming straight from New York to there, and I'm gonna need you to be ready.
Yeah. I'll be ready.
No, I mean, just, you gonna bring the heat, or what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, if I bring Mama Schiavone, Lois Schiavone, that's all I need to do.
Okay. Well, I'm ready.
All right. Meanwhile, what do you think of this match we're seeing right now?
I wish it was over.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean like finished. I mean, I wish these guys were over. No, I've always been a Sting mark, especially back in these days. I enjoy watching Sting from, this era, because when I was a kid, he was, without question, my favorite WCW wrestler. It was him and the Steiner brothers. They were my absolute favorites. And, Butch Reed, I was never a fan of as a singles guy. I can respect his talent, but as a kid, I was like, oh, I hope they beat him up. Now, when they put the hoods on, I all of a sudden thought Doom was pretty cool. What do you think about, and this is really an eclectic group here, because you got Butch Reed, who is maybe one of the more underrated performers, Sting, who's certainly a Hall of Famer. The referee is Teddy Long, who's going to go on to be a Hall of Famer. And then on the outside is Hiro Matsuda, which, I mean, those are four big names in the industry. But what do you think of the idea of bringing in Hiro Matsuda as cause JJ Dillon's gone.
Yeah.
So you need like a heel manager. And of course, this, I guess, is their answer to a more dignified Mr. Fuji, just because in this era it was, he's an Asian manager. He's a bad guy. There was no babyface Asian managers. You know what I mean? So, what'd you think of Matsuda in this role?
Well, I never did really like Hiro. Look, Hiro was a great guy. He really was. Nice man. But I never thought he really added anything to matches, because he just didn't. I always thought that they brought him in and they used him just to get an inroad and to build up good relationships with Japanese wrestling, be it New Japan, All Japan, whatever it was back then. And that was the reason that he was around, for that relationship with promoters in Japan. But I never thought he really added much. As a matter of fact, we've seen Paul Jones out now already. Hiro Matsuda's out, and Hiro's kind of just stuck in the corner there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not really walking around like a Jim Cornette would do, or, he did something just now to the heel thing to grab Sting while the referee's attention was somewhere else. But Matsuda just kind of stuck in the corner and has, I don't know. I never did see it. Never did get it. Never did understand it. But again, the connection with Japanese wrestling, and maybe he and George Scott were buddies. And there was a lot of, as you know, not only, this is in every walk of life, Conrad, but there was always, taking care of your friends, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we just saw Hiro's hand, and that's all we saw. He pointed. And not only that, he's going to be involved in the Ric Flair match too. He'll be at ringside for that, which to me just kind of blows me away. If you really think about it, did Ric Flair ever need a manager?
No.
Unless he had like Miss Liz or woman with him, which always females. Ric Flair worked, but he never needed a manager. And Steamboat Steamboat had a manager, his wife. She managed his affairs. What's Bonnie Steamboat doing now? Do you know?
Counting royalty checks, I reckon. I don't know.
Yeah, running somebody else's life, maybe.
She's probably looking for you. She heard. Man,
Why? Why would she be looking for me?
you're a pushover.
Okay.
I'm trying to get you fired up. I need you in fighting mode.
Okay, I just, maybe Bonnie will show up with a baseball bat. Say, that's Schiavone guy. I'm looking for him.
I don't think if she's coming in swinging, she's coming in for you necessarily, but she may see you and just add you to the list. But you forget, she's probably got a few things to be mad about Rick from back in the day.
Yeah, right. You would think that, and I don't want to make this. You would think that a lady who had that much to do with her husband's career,
Right.
that she did, was probably pretty good elsewhere.
Oh my gosh. Are you saying what I think you're saying right now?
Yeah, I'm saying that they're
Get it. Get
maybe,
it.
maybe I should shut up.
Get it.
Maybe I should shut up. Maybe.
Get it.
Okay, just maybe that this would be, and I know this wasn't big back then, but it is now.
Get it.
Maybe
Get it.
Bonnie would have been perfect if you had Blue Chew in your pocket.
Oh my gosh.
I just thought that, and now, hell, now you don't need a doctor visit. You don't need an awkward conversation. You don't need to wait in line at a pharmacy.
Do you remember back in the day, like the first time you had to go get dick pills? That was a whole situation, was it not? I mean, you had to have more anxiety about going to see the doctor than you did actually wondering if your gimmick would work.
Yeah, exactly. And then, anxiety leads to limp dick.
Sure.
And then you go in there. So you go into the pharmacy and you say, I want some, what? And you got the prescription and you get your Viagra, and then you get ready to take it, and you look at the Viagra and you're thinking about that time that you're in the pharmacy and had to ask for it, embarrassed, and then you don't want to take it. But now you don't have to worry about that because Blue Chew has reinvented everything.
They really have. It's got the same active ingredient as both Viagra and Cialis, so you know it really works, and it's a chewable, so you can take it anytime, and it's going to work faster. You can take it on an empty stomach or after you've eaten, whatever you'd like. But yeah, I think the number one thing is it can be prescribed online and it's shipped discreetly, and it's individually packaged, so it's ready to go when you're ready to go. And I know that that's going to come in handy for you because there's going to be hundreds of women that you haven't seen before or in a very long time that maybe you wished you had a shot for. Lois will be drunk at the bar. This will be your chance to break out the old Blue Chew.
Lois drunk at the bar, and I'm popping Blue Chew.
Dude,
Wow.
it's just like, it's the way we are. It's the way of the world in 2019. Now that, she's occupied and she's got what she wants. Well, if somebody from back in the day here is there, then maybe you can finally get what you want. And if you're looking for a hashtag super hard dick, we've got a special offer for our What Happened When listeners right now, don't we, Tony?
Visit BlueChew.com, get your first order free, but you got to use this promo code, guys. WHW. That's right, promo code WHW. You only pay $5 shipping. And again, once again, BLUE Chew, CHEW.com, promo code WHW. Free. We're handing out free hard dicks again.
Well, what's funny is a few weeks ago or months ago, whenever we first got Blue Chew as a sponsor, they sent both you and I like a sample pack. And you texted me and it was like all capital letters and some misspellings. But you said, it's so hard, even a cat couldn't scratch it. And I don't even know what that means, but I know it sounds pretty good. So if you want one of those, just go ahead and go to Blue Chew. Tell them that promo code again.
WHW, just like What Happened When. WHW is your promo code at BlueChew.com. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see Bonnie. I don't know she's not Bonnie Steamboat
Hey, you know what? Let's get a little viral campaign going. What if we had people tweet you before and after pictures?
Whoa, what do you mean?
Like, you know, not like
I think I'm gonna show my dick on.
No, not you show yours, but like, let's say Bad Money Slim, who's listening right now. Let's say that he wants to go ahead and sample some Blue Chew. Maybe what he could do is he could just DM you private selfies to show you like before and after, so you could be proud that you know our listeners are really enjoying some of our advertisers, and our advertising is really working.
I know our advertiser really works. Do not DM me a dick pic.
Hang on now.
What are you trying to do here to me?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
You've been on this very show and talked about the baby's arm holding an apple a dozen times.
Well, yeah,
and
but
now all of a sudden you don't want to see Bad Money Slims. What Bad Money Slim ever do to you?
No, that's whoa! Did Sting get the 3 count there? Yes, he did. Thank God. Bailed us out. And Hiro Matsuda.
You know, that's where you are. You'd rather talk about hard dicks than a Butch Reed match.
No, well, listen, look. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like the best memories you have of your time as a sports fan are the things that are in your mind, not the things you see on TV or you see pictures of. So I don't want to see it anyway. So anyway, that's BlueChew.com. Promo code WHW for #SuperHardDick. Oh boy, and this match was very, very difficult to get through.
Yes, it was.
Wow, take a look at this. Now this is going to be the loser of this match has to retire. And Randy Rose, I don't know the story about why they brought Jack Victory in for this.
Well, because they just bought the UWF. So they've combined them all. I mean, not just on it, but that territory's gone now. So why not use some of these dudes? And the original Midnight Express is what they're being billed as here and being managed by Paul Heyman, who is here known as Paulie Dangerously. He's got his fist taped up. He's cutting a heck of a promo with Bob Caudle, pointing to the camera a lot, bobbing that head. He's always been a strong promo, but he's probably not talking about being an advocate for the original Midnight Express. What do you think he's talking about instead?
Yeah, he's talking about Jim Cornette, and he's talking about getting in the ring with Jim Cornette, I would think, unless Randy Rose. But Jack Victory wasn't one of the original Midnight Express is what I was asking here. I think that he was just a substitute in this show. Let me see if I can look this up and find out exactly what it was. But it was supposed to be Dennis Condrey. There you go. Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose were the original Midnight Express. And here I'm reading this out of Wikipedia. Condrey left the NWA just before the event was replaced by Jack Victory. That's what I'm trying to get to there.
No, I thought you were like, who the fuck is Jack Victory and why is he here?
No, I know who Jack Victory was, but he was just a sub in this match.
Dennis Condrey has always been hokey pokey. Has he not?
Oh yeah, Dennis was willing to walk away if things didn't. I remember talking to Dennis about this very vividly. I remember when we were talking about the first Skywalker's match, the scaffold match that we have certainly talked about ad nauseum on this podcast, but about how dangerous they are and how crazy it was. And I remember talking to Dennis about it. We were standing there one day, we're doing promos, and we were doing promos for the Skywalker's match. And I said, man, I hope you guys get a lot of money for this shit. And Dennis says, well, we better. If not, there ain't gonna be any more. And that's kind of how he was. So he was willing to walk away from it, and he walked away more than once, right? He walked away from this Midnight Express version we're looking here, and he walked away from the original Midnight Express too. Look at Bobby's mullet, would you? Well, it took some time to fix that up.
So I'm getting over this whole Forrest Gump of wrestling shit.
Mm-hmm. Chat me up about that.
Well, I've started to refer to myself as the Forrest Gump of wrestling.
Oh.
And I got to tell you, like, the only thing I haven't done yet is managed to piss off Jim Cornette. And that's really apparently not that hard to do. I mean, maybe I have. He just hasn't cut like a public promo on me yet.
Right.
But isn't that like a rite of passage? Did you ever have Jim Cornette cut a promo on you?
No, he never has, but he threatened to kick my ass one time.
Oh, we got to hear that.
Yeah. Well, I've talked about that when we were in San Francisco and he picked up a chair and was going to hit a kid with it.
Oh,
and I was the ring announcer and I grabbed him and he turned to me and was serious and said, "Never put your hands on me or I will fucking kick your ass." And he was serious. And as he walks around the side of the ring, he is staring at me across the ring. I'm thinking, you know, if he doesn't settle down pretty soon, he's going to walk over here and really kick my ass. So, yeah.
Well,
but, no, he's never cut a promo on me. He's never been mad at me. But then again, you know, time's not up yet. Maybe he, will get mad at you and mad at me. And Paulie blows his nose on his coat. And, wow. Some good looking girls there. I just noticed let's see, the Midnight Express and the NWA are number one in Chicago. Whoa, look, they light some of the crowd. What the hell happened there?
Just one random shot.
What the fuck? Hey, put a light on there. Okay, there's a light on. Okay, we don't like it. You can take it down. Isn't that kind of odd? I mean, if it wasn't the fact that they were moving, it almost looked like a picture of people stuck up in the middle there. Now, compare Hiro Matsuda to these kids, right? I mean, geez, these guys were and are two of the greatest ever.
I like the concept, but without Dennis Condrey in there, it kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does. Because there's a story there.
Yeah, but with Jack Victory, there's not.
No, there's nothing. But it's the best they could do.
I guess they think 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
So you're the Forrest Gump of wrestling, eh?
Well, you know, it's just people always ask, like, how did you do that? I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why is Conrad there? I'm always like I see comments after, you know, I do something or, you know, something makes a headline somewhere or people are talking about something one way or another and I'm somehow involved. And without fail, someone in the comments is always like, why the fuck is Conrad there? And I always like it. And I'm underneath struggling like, fuck, I don't even know, but it just happened. Like the resurgence of Tony Schiavone. I mean, Tony Schiavone's back in wrestling and everybody's so excited about it. And then people say, how the fuck is Conrad Thompson involved? And I'm like,
oh. I can answer that. If a man's got a plan, then a lot of times the plan works. You just got to have a plan.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I bring up this story all the time. And as a matter of fact, I was talking about it the other day and I can't remember who I was talking about it with. Maybe it was somebody that one of the doctors in the hospital. And, you know, I mean, like everybody, yeah, look, wrestling back in the day and even today, but really back in the day had far reaching fandom.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about, look, people say wrestling was just for the dumbass rednecks. Bullshit. There are doctors, there are lawyers, there are politicians who are big wrestling fans. And I've known some doctors that a doctor, as a matter of fact, here's a story. I went to see a neurologist a couple of years ago and I still see him on a irregular basis. When he came in, you know what he did? First thing he did when he came in?
What's that?
He hugged me. You're the big part of my childhood. I thought it was you. a doctor. So, anyway, I'm talking to a doctor, and so how did you get into this podcast business? And I talked about you, and I said, the fact is, Conrad didn't just send me this little email to say, hey, you want to do a wrestling podcast? Yours truly, Conrad Thompson. No, I said it was a freaking plan. It was an absolute plan. So that's why you're around. And I think, I really think that that you should call your company Bubba Conrad.
Bubba Rad.
Bubba Rad. Yeah, baby. Bubba Rad. Just like Bubba Gump, right? Bubba Rad.
GoDaddy.com. BUBBARAD.com. Okay. It's taken. Fuckers.
Fuck.
What the fuck is it then? I thought I came up with something.
Yeah.
Server not found. That's bullshit. Oh well.
Well, meanwhile, we're seeing some guys who can really work.
Oh, I got sued this week.
Did you really?
Yeah, I can't tell you on air, but I'll tell you off air. I forgot to tell you though, because you've been doing all your lowest stuff, so there's a lot that happened in my week this week that I got to catch you up about. But yeah, I got a nasty gram.
Wow.
And I think you're gonna love it.
I love it already. As a matter of fact.
You like when I get sued?
No, I liked confrontations.
Well, we got one.
Okay. We?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I said I almost like in a we understood. I know it's an understood I, there's no understood we, but in this case, I thought the we was understood.
Okay.
No, specifically, they're looking for damages and your dog hair. And I said, well, you're in luck. There's plenty of that. So
yeah, damages. Must have said something about somebody on our podcast.
Somebody say something about cease and desist.
Oh my God. Oh Lord.
Here's the deal though. I was told a long time ago, hey, you aren't really successful till somebody's suing your ass.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's not the first time I've been sued. It won't be the last.
Well, I would agree with you. I've had that problem before too.
Yeah. I heard that you were once sued for impersonating a wrestling commentator.
But
you were found not guilty. It's fine.
Conrad Thompson, Brandy Rose, man, and Bob Eaton. They can do it, can't they? Now, Paulie.
Old school Southern wrestling, and then in comes Paul Heyman. All right. If you had to hang out, night on the town, dinner, drinks, shenanigans, would you do it with Paul Heyman or Jim Cornette?
Probably with Paul Heyman.
All right. Why'd you say that?
Because Jim Cornette is the type of guy that you say, Jim, you want to hang out? And he'll say, yeah, I'll get some pizzas and we'll watch old wrestling videos.
But you like that. Like that's your kind of hanging out. You don't really want to go drink.
Yeah.
And be merry, party, bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably true. So yeah, probably Jim Cornette and I would get along.
Bruce Pritchard has a theory that Jim Cornette and Paul Heyman are the same person. They were just born on different sides of the Mason-Dixon line.
Wow.
They said, one's from New York.
That's very
one's from the
insightful.
South, but really they're the fucking same.
Yeah. Well, think about managers who gave great promos. Probably the two best right there, don't you think?
Well, I think his point is they're both very opinionated about wrestling. They both believe very strongly. They both have some interesting little quirks to their character. I buy it. He sold me on it. I could see it. I mean, I don't know him well enough to speak on it, but you do.
Well, they both ran wrestling companies, right?
Right.
And, I was at NWA 70 recently and, I had a great time, reconnecting with Jim Cornette. And I remember when we had our big production meeting, Jim Cornette was very opinionated about, here's an idea. Here's the way I think things should work. And I was thinking, wow, Jim still got it as far as, thinking what works and what doesn't in wrestling. I have opinions of what I think works and what I think doesn't in wrestling, but I just won't sit there and say anything unless you ask me. But Jim Cornette will offer his opinions. And so that was good to see. And of course, Paul Lee running ECW. And I mean, hey, let's think about this. I've said many times that the concept that was ECW has stood the test of time more than grab a side headlock and work on the mat. They grab a table, grab a kendo stick, if you will, or grab a chair, hit somebody with it. You see a lot more of that than you do than the old style wrestling that we're really going to see with Steamboat and Flair here coming up. Jimmy doing a great job of that desperate tag. And they were the baby faces here. Stan could do a lot of good stuff too, man.
They're doing shows together again. I mean, they're not wrestling, of course, but Jim has managed to put together Dennis Condrey, Stan Lane, Bobby Eaton, and himself. And Dennis has not made a lot of appearances in recent years. Apparently he's had some real health issues, but he's back out making them. And I think they're going to do a few shots, including a return to the University Hilton in Charlotte, where I first discovered the greatness of the real life Tony Schiavone, not the TV dad we all grew up with. But apparently that's all happening in August.
In August, they're going to do another NWA convention. Is that what you're saying? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, but I think it's from a different guy now. I don't think it's the same promoter as before.
All right.
I think he calls himself T-Mart Promotions or something like that. And they're calling it like The Gathering, and it's in like mid-August. But I think it's at the same old hotel and the whole deal.
Wow.
I know they've advertised like Missy Hyatt and Barry Windham, and I think Harley Race is being promoted, and
very cool.
Ricky Steamboat. I'm going.
See, I wish I'd have known about it. I would have gotten that time off. Randy Rose up top. Here he goes.
You got to take off August 15th through August 18th that far in advance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just trying to be professional.
I mean, so you got to schedule time off 7 months ahead of time. Wow.
Yeah. Just trying to be professional.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We weren't invited or anything. I'm just plugging somebody else's thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if I got a chance to hang out with Conrad Thompson somewhere, why not?
I think, one of your favorites will be there. I think they're promoting, Scarlett.
Really?
Yeah. I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
And I think one of your other favorites, Colonel Robert Parker will be there. And one of my close personal friends, Buff Bagwell.
Wow. Well, that's worth the price of admission.
Jack Victory, who's in this match, he'll be there.
Having Buff Bagwell and Conrad Thompson in the same venue at the same time would be worth the price of admission. Do realize I need to explain something to you now. Okay.
All right.
When you first saw the Tony Schiavone that you know now.
Right.
Okay. Was what year? Do you remember what year that was?
2014.
Okay. Conrad Thompson in 2014 could go to a convention like that and be very behind the scenes. But there ain't no way, fella, that you're going to walk in a convention right now as just a regular fan sitting down and watching.
Fuck up.
You're not, Conrad. You're not. You are not. You are going to draw attention to yourself, not because you want to, or not because you're going to try to, but because of who you are now. It's different now for you. It is. It's different now for you. You walk in there, somebody's going to say, "Hey, that's the Forrest Gump of wrestling."
That's right. I'm getting it over.
That's right.
You know what though? It's like, as soon as I said that, people online started saying, life's like a box of Blue Chew. You never know how hard your dick's going to get.
I'm telling you, it's changed for you. So if you think,
do you think we could do a special on Patreon where we get everybody to go support Blue Chew? Cause you know, they don't have commercials over there, but we could still tell them, hey, everybody go get your Blue Chew here. And then during your next Q&A, we'll do a little video chat thing. And you guys can all show Tony how it's working.
No.
Are we not going to celebrate our advertisers on this show? Are you ashamed of Blue Chew?
No, I'm not ashamed of Blue Chew, but I don't want to see your dick.
Not mine.
Anybody.
Slims.
No. I don't want to see this. Okay. Just tell me about it. I'll believe you. Just tell me about it.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Here's the deal. He doesn't want to see pictures. Just give him a play-by-play.
No, just tell me. Just say it worked. I love Blue Chew. It worked. It changed my life. It changed my relationship.
No. Send him the whole diatribe at Tony Schiavone 24 on Twitter. We need the feedback, man. Like, you know, I know that what's his name? Bruce Pritchard. He sometimes talks about Johnny Ace. Oh, here we go. We're getting to the main event here now. Yeah. Jim Cornette just slapped the taste out of Paul Heyman's mouth.
Probably took a little bump there.
Let me tell you what I love. One of the things I love most about wrestling is when they do things in threes. So it's one punch, two punch, three punches, then he goes down.
Right. You know what? You're right. I never did think about that.
Like even the Hulk Hogan comeback, it was always block a punch, wag your finger at him, one punch, two punch, three punch, into the ropes, big boot, leg drop. But like even Cornette there, it's like unspoken. They didn't have to lay all that out. When he punches him the first time, but then doesn't let go, he knows two more are coming.
Right.
He's not going to bump after the second one, and he's not going to no sell the third one waiting for a fourth. Everybody knows on the third one, get your ass down there. And there he is right up top. No, Randy Rose misses. Stan Lane makes the cover. I thought that was it.
I thought it was too. Cause I think if I'm right, Randy Rose, the one that has to leave here. Cause whoever gets pinned is going to be gone. Paulie.
I like when Paulie tries to make Stan Lane seem like he's much bigger. So he jumps on his back and picks his legs up when really they're probably the same height.
Right. Widen out here. But by the fans, by the way, the fans in that spotlight in the back, they're not having a good time at all, seemingly.
Well, they're watching a Jack Victory match and they're expecting Dennis Condrey. No disrespect to Jack Victory, but it's not the same.
No, I guess it's like they're watching some sort of drama movie. Oh, there it is. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. There it is. I mean, great reaction from the fans.
Is it weird of me that sometimes I look at Stan Lane like through the face and hair and I think that's like a shrunken Lex Luger?
Well, the hair is very, very, well, there you go. There is some, without question.
Little baby Lex Luger.
Mm-hmm. So there it is, Midnight Express. Was that someone's kid walking or just a small person? Did you see that? Oh my God. See now the Nature Boy Ric Flair with Hiro Matsuda.
What's he saying here with Bob Caudle holding the stick for him? Take us there.
Bob Caudle. Yeah, they thought I would never live I was age 70. But I want to say that I've fucked enough women. I've drunk enough clear ones. And I have gone up and down the road. And I will live past age 70. If it has to be zombie Ric Flair, it'll be zombie Ric Flair. I'll be there for as long as I want to be there because I am the Nature Boy. And you know what? They talk about bad decisions in life. Well, here's one person who's made a bad decision in life. My daughter, Megan. She married Forrest Gump. Forrest fucking Gump. Can you believe that? Here I am, the Nature Boy. Rolex watches, diamond rings, limousines. And she married Forrest Gump from Huntsville, Alabama. Hiro Matsuda, come in here. Don't say anything. I don't want to fuck up this interview. I'm the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Me and Ricky Steamboat have had the greatest matches in the world, but the only thing I got in my mind right now is my daughter married to Forrest Gump. What in the fuck is going on with my life right now? Because like it or you don't like it, learn to live with it, because it's the best thing Alabama's got going today. One more thing I'd like to say. On my 70th birthday, I'm showing them all the baby's arm. Aren't I, Hiro? Don't say anything at all. Just stand there and look dumb. Woo! That's the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. He's going to show the gimmick. Back to the ring. And here it is for the World Television title. What did you think about Mike Rotundo as a wrestler?
I thought his wrestling was fine, but I preferred him, and I know a lot of old school fans are going to hate this. I greatly preferred the IRS character.
Yeah. I think we're saying that he was better when he had a gimmick than just Mike Rotundo, great amateur wrestler, Syracuse, New York type thing.
Yeah.
Never was that good at a promo, but when he had the character, he was good.
But I'll tell you what, he had 2 kids that can do promos.
Yes, he did. Absolutely. It's funny when it's not funny, but it's odd for me to see guys whose, fathers were good wrestlers in the ring and see them wrestle now. It just, well, it tells you how quickly time goes by, but it's just odd. I just think it's very odd. You'll find out. Who's that at ringside? Oh, it's Scotty. God, you know what? From the rear, I wasn't sure if that was like Tom Brandy or Tom Zink or what. Rocking that mullet he had on, and that's Big Papa Pump at ringside.
What did you think the upside was for Rick Steiner here?
The upside?
Yeah.
What, to be involved in this?
What's his ceiling? And let's go back and get in your Wayback Machine, 1989.
Yeah.
He's challenging for the television title.
All right.
What did you think his ceiling was?
Television title.
Oh, really? You didn't see him as a U.S. champ or a world champ or anything like that?
No, not really.
Okay.
And it's not to have anything to do with his abilities, but again, the fuck. The goofy gimmick, can't talk, kind of eccentric, type. I just didn't know if it worked in a main event setting.
I guess it's worth mentioning here that a lot of people probably assume that the Steiner brothers are already a thing, but it wasn't until 1989,
right,
where that Scott actually started accompanying him to the ring, and eventually it became a tag team. So he's just really been working, without Scott so far, but Scott on the outside there is of course going to lead to them being a tag team, and Steiner brothers were born, and nobody could have predicted the success they would have, I don't think.
Right. And it wasn't until Scotty got involved that Rick really became, I really think, a top star. And I've said this, I think I've said this before on this podcast, that, as if you take all the guys who are in this event and you say, okay, guys, we're going to put you out in the ring and everything is going to be real. Who are the 2 guys you think that could beat everybody up? It would be Rick Steiner and it would be Dr. Death Steve Williams. Ric Flair said he would always tell Steiner, look at this. Sit the fuck down. Ric Flair always said to Rick Steiner, he said, you're my hero. Because Rick always knew that Ric Flair always knew that Rick Steiner in a shoot could beat the fuck out of anybody. And I've said many times that any guy who has been a great amateur wrestler, fuck, they could snatch you. They could get you to submit. They do on the WWF. They do a lot of tap outs now. You know, AJ Styles does the calf crusher, and Ronda Rousey does the arm bar, and they do a lot of tapping out. If he wanted to, Rick Steiner can make a lot of people tap out. Could have back then, or go out. See that side headlock?
I do.
Yeah. Now they're probably going to shoot. Rotunda's going to shoot him into the ropes, maybe to try to break the side headlock right here. Okay, and he breaks it. In reality, if Rick Steiner didn't want to break the side headlock, you could shoot him in the ropes all you want, and he ain't gonna break that side headlock. And that's just the. And now he's looking up in the air and seeing things. So that's what I'm saying. I think the ceiling was lowered because of the gimmick that he had at that time. Once Scotty got aboard, you know, Scotty did most of the talking for him, and Rick, only thing Rick had to do was bark. But he's a tough son of a bitch, man. God almighty. I need to look him up.
I can get you his number.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, send it to me because I want to get in touch with him because I've reconnected with Scotty, and it was great seeing Scott, man. And we've had a lot of fun with him here on the podcast. But in reality, he and Rick just great guys. And I know Rick lives really close to me, and I think Rick's son plays college football for Kennesaw State.
Check your phone, kind sir.
Okay. I sure will.
I sent you his phone number. If you need his email, I can get you that too.
Yeah.
But okay. I know you're more of a phone guy than an email guy.
Yeah. God, is that Eric Watts at ringside? That looked like him for a moment.
That's where he belongs.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
What's your favorite Eric Watts match, motherfucker?
I don't remember one.
Yeah, nobody else does either.
Okay.
So.
Hey, you know what? Come on now. Eric was a good guy.
We're making jokes. Jesus Christ. Last week,
I don't want to get sued. Fuck.
Well, maybe you should
just don't know. I mean, hell, I don't know what I can say now.
Well, let me just say that maybe you shouldn't talk about wanting to smell people's fingers.
I've never done that.
Last week, when we were talking about, or it was 2 weeks ago, you were talking about Stacy Keibler and how the next time you saw David Flair, you wanted to smell his fingers.
David Flair suing us?
No, just being funny.
Okay. Now I know where David Flair lives. Okay. So he better not, say anything to me.
You don't know where David Flair lives.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And
you don't know where David Flair lives.
Okay. And look at this. Whoa.
What town does David Flair live in?
I'm not going to say that.
What letter does it start with?
S.
Oh shit. Okay. Never mind. Have you been to his house before?
No, but he and I have conversed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You're making your way around the Flair family again.
Well, wait a minute. Stop the presses. Making your way around the Flair family again.
Well, I'm just
What saying, is this again about? What are you what's going on here?
You went a long time without talking to Rick, and then all of a sudden you saw Ashley, and then you got so comfortable with Megan you don't even come to her goddamn wedding.
Oh boy.
And now you're just going on fishing trips with Dave.
Digging that shit out again. Man. Come to her goddamn wedding. Dig that shit out a fucking again.
Do you realize that once a week it comes up?
Oh boy, yeah, I do now.
No, I'm saying seriously. Megan cries herself to sleep sometimes.
Does she really?
Yeah.
Is it because she married you or because I didn't come to her wedding?
Fuck, you're stepping on my jokes, goddammit. Yes, because she married me.
Okay.
And well, really, she was okay with marrying me, but she didn't realize it meant that I would have to be 3 doors down from the kitchen yelling 9 hours a week for these podcasts, and that Cassio Kid would just come over whenever he wanted.
And just walk in.
Just walk in.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Cassio's kids kind of like that guy in the movie The Burbs, where the guys, they're just sitting, the neighbors just walk in.
You know what
and,
I just realized when Cassio does his voice real high, it's like his version of Ron Funches.
Who was our buddy that said that his laugh sounds like an eagle in heat?
I don't know, but that's a great description. Why haven't we had Cassio on for an episode recently?
It's up to you, man. He's your buddy.
Yeah. Oh, I know why. Big Booty Judy's back in town.
Oh, okay.
You remember there for a while, he was looking for something to do because she was working out of town a lot, but now she's back. So he's exercising.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if you saw, I guess since he's not allowed to leave the house, he's starting a podcast.
What?
Yeah.
Are you doing it with him?
No.
That's a long pause before you said no there.
No, I was like, cause it's like an interview deal. He interviews a different person every week. And so he's asked me if I would do it and, like be a guest one week. And I said, yeah. And he asked you if you would do it. And you said no.
See what, you know what? Can I be brutally honest here about that request?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my brutally honest response to that. You're a lying motherfucker is what my brutally honest response is. Motherfucker. You're a brutally honest, lying motherfucker.
I mean, he said that's what he said.
Okay. Well, he's your best friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you fucking have taught him how to lie.
All right. Here's the deal.
Okay.
Robert Simon 970 on Twitter even said, do a watch along with @Tony Schiavone 24. This is on February 13th. Yeah. And Cassio quotes it and says, he's already turned me down once.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know why you're mad at me that you turned down Cassio.
Okay. Well, you know what? My boy.
Let's just get to the bottom of it.
I'll get to the bottom of it. Lying piece of shit. Anyway, hey, pretty good. Fundamentally, we're calling him up.
I'm getting big dog by Cassio Kid.
Yeah, Judy's not letting him answer the phone.
Well, she's running a fucking tight ship over there.
She is, man.
Do you think he has a voicemail set up?
No.
I don't think so either.
3, 2.
Oh, okay. We'll let that go. All right. So yeah, I guess it's a mystery, but if you'd like to follow Cassio's podcast, it's @Cassio's Cut. I'm sure some of you are relieved he's not on this week. Well, now you know what not to go looking for in your podcast app, but maybe if you need a little more Cassio in your life, maybe you like the way Eagles and Heat sound, go look for @Cassio's Cut. That's CASIOSCUT on Twitter machine. And he's already got one in the can with, some of our close personal friends like Corey Ryan Forrester, who you had the privilege of hanging out with a few weeks ago.
Right. I think Corey's the one that came up with Eagle and Heat.
Yeah. That sounds like something he would say.
Yeah. What do you think about the old school?
I love the old school guardrail.
Yeah.
Now it's not as useful, right? Cause I don't think you can like throw people into it.
No,
but it is old school. But then again, I even like this set. I like where everything's sort of multicolor. You know, you've got, a set of red turnbuckles, a set of blue turnbuckles, 2 sets of white ones, and the ropes being blue, white, and yellow. And I know you like it just because the canvas is a lighter color.
Yes, I do. And notice also that and we're talking about, this is the first year really of Turner owning the company, right? But the focus is NWA. The ring skirt is NWA ring skirt, not WCW ring skirt. I thought it was very interesting that you would think that if they were going to change it to WCW, they would have it in place. But no, it was Turner Broadcasting back then.
Well, I think a lot of that is because they're still defending the NWA world title, right?
Yeah. Is that a dog barking or Kevin Sullivan talking?
It's Kevin Sullivan talking.
Okay. Wasn't sure. You sure? It's still barking, and you haven't still on camera here.
Well, I think our sync is off. Looking at my cameras, it looks like someone's at my front door.
Oh.
But they're just going to have to wait.
Unless it's Casio, or maybe it's Judy grabbing Casio by the short hairs and dragging him in.
It's definitely not Casio.
Okay.
Oh, it's a refrigerator repairman.
Oh.
My butler. My butler will take care of it. It's fine.
Well, yeah, why don't you just buy a new one? Why do you have a repairman?
Well, because I've got a built-in, so I can't just like slide it out and slide it in.
Did you open the refrigerator and puke in it?
No, the bottom drawer.
Just buy a new one, okay?
The bottom drawer of the Sub-Zero is like not working. The light doesn't come on, and it's got an error code. So they came out yesterday, and he thought he fixed it. Apparently, he didn't. So he's back here today to fix it.
A new one, you wouldn't have had to worry about it.
Well, you know what? If we could just get you to take off work from calling baseball or basketball and go make some shots, I can do more live shows, and I can afford a refrigerator that works. Because as you can tell, mine doesn't work. Have you seen how skinny I am? I'm wasting away.
I'm so sorry that I've brought down your year financially.
You've ruined.
How are you going to survive? Huh? Your butler will only be able to work 6 days a week instead of 7.
He's not here 7 days a week. First of all,
okay,
that's just his last name, Butler. Everybody asks me, "Do you ever have a butler?" No.
Hey, I know a butler, Kevin Butler.
Is he listening to the show right now?
Yeah, I don't know if he is or not.
Oh, okay. Do I need to be nice to him?
No, not at all.
Wait, is this who I think it is?
Yeah.
Oh, then I like him.
Yeah, the former Chicago Bear kicker.
No, maybe I don't like him.
The former Georgia Bulldog kicker. He was with the Bears and they won the Super Bowl. He was their kicker. Hall of Famer, college Hall of Famer. Good guy. You'll like him a lot. But he's my butler. Is that it? Mike Rotunda wins it. That's it. That's a pretty cool finish. Because Steiner thinks he put him out with a sleeper, but he got pinned.
What do you think of
pretty cool
that television title? Black strap on the front, red backing, 5-plater, nickel.
Yeah, you like that, don't you?
I do like it. I like the red one better.
Yeah, I like the red one better too.
But I like it black with the red backing too.
Yeah.
That's one of the belts I've been chasing forever. I couldn't find the real original red one.
Here we go. Hawk, Paul Ellering, Bob Caudle, and Dumbass.
Well, where?
Go ahead.
No, I can't. I got bronchitis. Go ahead.
Well, I'm standing next to a dumbass. Not you, Bob Caudle, but the guy to my left. That's right. He paints his face green. That's right, Bob Caudle. I can't put two, I'm trying to put 2 words together. Hawk, help me out here. Give me a word. Give me a word. It starts with a B. Yes, we're going to beat somebody up. And we're going to take give me another word to start with the B there, Hawk. Belts. We got the belts. Can't say that. Let's see. Tell him, Paul. Whew, glad I was able to bail that dumbass out. Because as you know, we are the Road Warriors. This is Dumbass. I got my paper on. This is Hawk. Yeah. And we're pointing at you, man. I've got the Wall Street Journal here. You know what that means? I'm making a lot of money based on these guys. That's exactly right. All right. There they are. Hawk, Paul Ellering, and Dumbass. Let's go to the ring.
What's your hate with Road Warrior Animal? Wow.
I love Animal. I love him. And I just love to give him shit. He's one of the, he is. He's a big old teddy bear. And that's what I love about him, because he was such a badass. He really was, wasn't he? I mean, they were badass motherfuckers, but in real life, they were the sweetest guys in the world. And I just love giving him shit. If he was genuinely a badass, I wouldn't give him shit. I'd run from him. But he's not. And I guess he does a podcast with our buddy Joe.
Yeah, Joe Roderick, good dude.
Yeah, right. I got to meet Joe at the recently at the Super Bowl Radio Row. He set up 4 interviews for me. Did a great job for us, and Joe is a good dude.
Lex Luger and Barry Windham. As a kid, I would have thought this was going to be one incredible match. A little later in life, I realized that Windham was the worker, not the guy that I liked, Lex Luger. Well, what a cool spot that was.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. As a kid, I used to really like when guys would, no sell a move. And now as an adult, everybody's like, God damn it, sell. But, as a kid, I was like, oh, he's a badass. Look, it didn't even faze him.
Well, you know who that is? Eddie Einhorn, owner of the Chicago White Sox.
He's probably trying to figure out what the fuck he's watching.
He was a big wrestling fan, friend of Gary Juster's. And that's why Eddie was there. No, we, you know who started that no-sell stuff, don't you?
No.
Road Warriors did. They made it fashionable. They were big and they were powerful and they no-sold shit. And then it kind of caught on. And I mean, if you go back and think about it, maybe the Road Warriors changed the business in many ways because you always sold shit. Always. Even the big strong guys sold shit, Even superstar Billy Graham back in the day sold things. Whoa, that's a pretty good clothesline, man. Meltzer liked him. Meltzer, boy, that was a hell of a clothesline by Luger. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
Well, again, it takes two. I mean, Barry took a hell of a bump for that, but man, Luger not known for his clothesline. He kind of a lot of times when he would do a clothesline, it was almost like it ended up being like a forearm shot, top of the head.
What's it going to take to get you to throw some lariats?
Throw some what?
Some lariats.
I'm not doing it. I'm going to be a nice guy. Look.
I'm busting balls. God, you're so sensitive today.
This is Ric Flair. And you know who Ric Flair is? He's a father-in-law of Forrest Gump.
Oh my God.
That's a big fucking deal. Big fucking deal.
No, I think it's a bigger deal that he used to take you out and get you laid.
Whoa. Stop the fucking presses there, Road Warrior animal, you lying piece of shit.
I wasn't there, but everybody else has told me about all those trips you guys would make to Vegas. And of course, when I asked JJ about it, he would talk about the Caesar salad, which I always thought was interesting.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What do you mean? In Las Vegas, you never heard of it?
What, the Caesar salad? I knew. Is that where they invented it? At Caesar's Palace?
No, it's just, that's like anytime I've ever brought up Las Vegas and Ric Flair to JJ Dillon, he talks about what a spread Rick ordered. And he's like, it was steaks and lobsters and caviar and Caesar salad. But the way he works in Caesar salad every time makes me laugh.
Never heard that story.
Well, he'd be glad to tell you about it at StarCast.
Yeah, good. There's been bad rumors started about me.
What are the rumors? Just tell everybody so you can clear it up.
Well, no, I just Luger. Little hard way there, maybe. He wasn't known to juice. But that right eye looks a little bloody. Watch this. Whoa!
We didn't talk about this, but do you think that's why she went to the hospital? Do you think Flair knocked something loose?
Could have.
Why are you laughing?
Just your terminology.
What did I say?
Knock something loose. Watch out, he's going to duck. I saw that coming.
Oh, I got to tell you this. I got a text the other day that said, "Hey, what are we doing on March 15th and 16th? I think that's the date," she said.
Oh my God.
And I said, well, you can do whatever you would like, but I can't leave. And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, we've got like a few dozen slap dicks coming over." I think I forgot to tell her.
Whoa. Huh. Do I need to run interference here?
No, I mean, listen, we've got everything lined up and it's going to be at Hodel, as we talked about last week, where it's registered under my name as the low-key Big Hog get together.
I think it's tremendous.
It's awful. It should have been under your name, but it's under my name. And
Well, I'm not from Huntsville, you know.
I know that's the issue for me, because now people think I'm flying in so many dudes to see their low-key Big Hogs that I needed a block of hotel rooms.
Look, well, listen, you know, you may say people think I'm the Forrest Gump of wrestling. I'm the second most famous son-in-law in wrestling. No, you are the chief low-key Big Hog.
Okay.
That's what you are now. Okay. That's what you are. So embrace it.
The second most famous son-in-law is a joke on, Bruce's podcast.
Oh, I can't use that.
No.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up. What I'm explaining is he told a story about riding, up and down the roads with Dusty Rhodes for a loop. And Dusty would constantly refer to himself as the second most recognizable athlete in the world today, second only to Muhammad Ali.
Right.
And so they get pulled over by the cops, and Bruce is driving, and the cop says, "Are you Brother Love?" And Bruce laughs and acknowledges it and blah, blah, blah. And then he shines the light over to Dusty and says, "Are you a wrestler too?" And when they pull away, Bruce, of course, in his Dusty impression, turns to Dusty and says, "Second most recognizable athlete in the world today." And so that became when Bruce one day said on the show, "You are the second most recognizable son-in-law in the world today," or something. So it's a funny ha-ha, but it's a reference to Dusty. I don't actually refer to myself as that.
Yeah. That's a great story, man. Wow. That is a great.
Yeah. It's the number one podcast in the genre, and it drops Fridays at noon at somethingtowrestle.com.
You guys ever promote my podcast on that one?
Yeah. We've had you do a run-in. You were our first guest.
We had you do a run-in 3 years ago.
Well, I mean, to launch the show the first show set records.
Okay. Do you set, you ever still mention, hey, by the way, Tony still got a podcast over there?
All the time. I even opened the show once where I said, "What happened when?" with Tony Schiavone, and Bruce says, "No, you're not. You're doing too many of these. I'm Bruce Pritchard, remember?"
That's funny right there.
But you would know that if you would fucking listen.
Mm-hmm. I'll fucking listen. Who's out here with, who's the manager at ringside here? Is it, look at my fucking Luger's got some serious color here. Is this Hiro Matsuda out again?
Yeah. He's the manager of the Horsemen. He's the new JJ Dillon.
Got it.
Which was kind of a weird time because he's also managing Butch Reed, which I guess makes him like an unofficial.
I got it. And JJ had left right before me. And so JJ was just over at the, watch out, Barry, get on up there.
How cool would it have been if Rick would have left and been the surprise on the Brother Love show at SummerSlam 88. And then you had Arn, Tully, JJ, Flair. And at one point, of course, as you know, Barry was there. You could have had all the Horsemen there.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a fun Photoshop out there of that group, except instead of JJ there, they're all with Bobby Heenan. What a group.
Here's something.
Is that Kevin Sullivan or is that a dog?
Oh,
That might be our new go-to.
okay.
Whenever your dogs make noise or my dogs make noise, we just say it's Kevin Sullivan.
It's Kevin Sullivan. You got
They're
it.
probably the same height, in fairness.
1, 2.
Does
Funny right there.
Does your dog have a number on the socks?
What do you think about this Jackie Bradley Jr.? Guy can really play.
And there you go. New United States champion, Lex Luger. Crowd goes wild. Polite clapping from Dave Meltzer. And he's setting up a pile driver on the belt. Barry Windham not happy. And Dave loves that. Yeah. Fuck Lex Luger. Fuck Lex Luger. Give him a pile driver on his head. By the way, Lex Luger not coming to StarCast this year, previously occupied, but Barry Windham's there.
God damn. God, I can't wait to see Barry. I know Barry's health hasn't been that good. But I really look forward to seeing him. You know what? I really love seeing the fan. This is a very, very difficult interview. I watched this back. And this is why Mike was much better as a gimmick like IRS than he was Mike Rotunda, because he even called this the World Heavyweight title. And then World Television Heavyweight.
It is arguably the worst interview ever.
Really?
You don't think? I mean, it's on the list. Here you go.
The champion was. And on this night, Steiner, I got my belt back that you stole from me. And you better stay out of my face, Steiner, because the party's over for you. The World Television title stays around my waist for as long as I want it to, Steiner. And that's going to be a long, long time, my friend.
The World Television champion, Mike Rotunda fans.
And of course, what we played wasn't actually that bad. After we took turns shitting on him.
Well, he dug it out of the shit by throwing out cliches. That's always the thing. And can I give you a little bit of my my wrestling knowledge here, or lack thereof?
Yeah.
When young guys talk to me, and I've been doing some work with MLW, and I was backstage NWA 70, and there have been a number of young guys who have asked me about doing interviews. And they say, you did a lot of interviews with Flair, and you were there with Cornette and Arn Anderson and Piper and some of the great ones. Any wisdom you can impart on me about doing interviews? And I said, well, first of all, I never did interviews. I just kind of held the microphone to guys who were multi-talented. But I do tell them this, and I really believe that this is very, very important. They think about what they're going to say, and I get it. And they think about their opponent, and I get it. But they never think about how they're going to end it up. And if you don't have a good ending for your promo, if you don't know where you're going to go to, how you're going to say to finish it, a lot of times you just start talking in circles. And when you start talking in fucking circles, that's when you get fucking lost, and that's when it turns to shit. So there. Know exactly. The great guys knew how to end it. Flair used to go, woo! And Dusty Rhodes knew how to end his promos. So there. So there it is. And all you young wrestlers out there, that's some free advice.
Work backwards. It's just like with anything else, any sort of sales goal or any sort of goal you have. Our goal for the podcast, I knew that's the plan I laid out for you in that email. Hey, here's where we're going to wind up. And now let me explain how we're going to get there. And that's the way a promo, a promo is to sell something. It's a sales pitch. So the end has got to be the close. Like you've got to ask for the money and, figure out what your close is and then work backwards.
Very good. Couple real tough guys here, man. I miss Mike Hagstrand. He's the type of guy, buddy, that you could say, he's my friend. Don't fuck with me type deal. Let me ask you this, just take it away completely from this match. Who is Meltzer's buddy here with the shiny blue coat on? My God. Did he want to stand out at ringside or what?
Isn't it Brad Muster?
I don't know if it is or not. It might be.
I mean, I thought it was. I thought that was who it was. Isn't that his buddy at the game?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Dr. Death, buddy. And this is back when Dr. Death and I guess Rotundo, and they're starting the varsity club, right? About this time? Or they've had the varsity club? I'm not so sure. Just walked up and kicked his ass. That was pretty fucking cool. Oh, God. So now we have a new television champion, right?
We do.
And a new U.S. champion.
We do.
Wow, titles are dropping right and left here.
Do you think that means we're going to have a new world champion?
I do. But I don't think the Road Warriors are going to drop the tag team straps in their hometown of Chicago. Come on, Kevin, hit him. Peanut Head, kind of running things here. Oh, it was a disqualification. Right in front of Dave Meltzer. Meltzer should write about this. Well, they disqualified him. Should have right in front of me. Is Meltzer coming to StarCast?
Yeah.
Cool. Be good to see him and Brian Alvarez. And
Kevin Sullivan will be there.
Ah, damn. Kevin and I could sit down for hours and talk baseball.
Dr. Death is not going to make it.
Yeah, bless his heart. I know he's not. But JR is going to be there. So Oklahoma will be represented. Not so sure that was a good move from the doc.
I liked it. Just jump up and throw your leg up there. Let him run into it.
Yeah. For a guy like him, I don't know if that's a good move. But anyway, hindsight being what it is.
What, you saying big boys can't throw big legs?
Sometimes, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying sometimes they can and sometimes they can't. And in that instance, he couldn't. Are you just want to argue everything with me now?
No, I'll just sit over here and shut the fuck up. Just have a good show.
No. Call Cassio. Get him on here.
No, he didn't answer. Fuck him.
Yeah, did you see the text he sent us?
I'm not reading his text messages.
I was walking my dogs. Whatever the hell y'all are scheming, I'm available now.
Fuck it. I'm not talking to him. You do it.
Yeah. Talk to him.
No.
Hello?
Hey, can I be on your podcast?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello? Conrad, get back on here.
Well, it's not my problem. You guys don't know how to fucking talk to each other.
Okay. The hell with him then.
Wasn't that good radio?
Well, we're not doing radio.
You know what I mean, you fucker.
Okay. Oh, well. We tried. I'm really pissed off.
I hope his podcast is as good as that. Cassio's cut. Look for it soon. He'll get to it when he's not walking the fucking dogs.
Yeah. The wife's home. Why didn't she walk the dogs? Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Hello?
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 Tony Schiavone.
Hey. Listen.
What's up, buddy?
Can I be on your podcast?
God, I would love for you to be on my podcast.
See, you know what? You're a lying turd.
What?
Conrad Thompson, who's on here with us, said that you had asked me to be on the podcast, and I said no.
You 100% said.
Yeah. Okay.
He said you were making a kind gesture and said, I would like to send you some PayPal money. And I said, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather you be on my podcast. And you said, no, fucker, give me your PayPal address.
Mm. Okay, well, then I'm lying. Hey, thanks for being with us. Go walk the fucking dogs.
Wait, so are you still going to come on my podcast?
Of course I'll come on your podcast. How much?
Well, now you're going to be grumpy about it.
Okay, well, I'm usually not grumpy, but then when you spend 2 hours with Conrad sometime, you get grumpy, you know?
Oh, you are 2 hours deep? Oh, yeah, you're pissed. You're pissed if you're 2 hours deep already.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I love you.
I love you too. My best to Judy. You wouldn't even say a word to him, would you?
No, fuck him. He's competition now. He's got a podcast.
Yeah, fuck him. What am I talking?
I don't know.
Why do we put him on here?
I mean, you know how many Casio fans out there? At least 30. We may have just lost 30 listeners. 30 listeners less just because you wanted to do that. And what the fuck are you trying to send my friends money for?
Well, just trying to be nice.
What does that even mean?
Well, they say, if you don't have enough friends, oh, look at that fucked up move. If you don't have enough friends, you might as well just hand out money and buy them. Whoa, look at over the top. That's got to be the finish. 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. It looked like a 5 count to me.
It was a 3,000 count. What a shit finish. This is the 19th disputed finish so far. They did this exact same fucking thing for every match so far.
George Scott at his best. What can I say?
Man, it's like somebody needs to pop him out, blow the air in the cartridge and stick him back in. He's stuck.
Oh, shit. Holy shit, Lex. Are you going to draw me a line with your fan? Or are you just too upset?
What do you think Lex is saying here about not making an appearance at StarCast?
StarCast, it was, first one was in Chicago, which is my hometown. Not really my hometown, it's Buffalo Bob. Buffalo Bob. That sounds like a wrestler gimmick. But I am the U.S. heavyweight champion. And if I had my druthers to come to StarCast, I would come to StarCast. But I have a couple of things I've got to do. I've got to go down to the University of Miami where I went to college and try to resurrect that football program. That's total package Lex Luger. Do me a I'm going to send you not 2, but 3 bottles of my Windham mustard. That's what I'm going to do. Send you a couple of the Chipotle ketchup, and going to send you some JR's barbecue sauce. Have you ever had any of that, Conrad?
I have. It's good stuff.
You're damn right. It's good stuff.
It's not what I grew up on. And I think everybody's sort of partial to what they grew up on, but right behind what I grew up on, it's my favorite barbecue sauce. And I'm not just saying that because I shit on everything on this show, but
I know you do.
No,
Yeah.
I really like it. And I'm always super skeptical of jerky, but it's actually pretty damn good too. It didn't last very long at my house.
Do you have an Ingalls where you live in Alabama?
No, I do not. He just ships me stuff.
Yeah.
Just to be a good buddy.
Yeah. You can get it at Ingalls in the Atlanta area.
So how about Steamboat and Flair here? And you can see this is the studio stuff. So it's got the backdrop over there that we recreated for all your photos.
Yeah.
Pretty cool little deal here.
What, the match or the backdrop?
The idea that Flair and Steamboat are doing something not in front of the big crowd, but here for the television audience.
Right. And it's like tag team match. There's Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert over there on one side and Barry Windham over on the other. Oh, I thought I froze up for a moment.
I love this promo here. This is from a Clash of the Champions, and he's going to be talking about how he's got all these pretty little ladies. And yeah, of course you don't have that. You got your old boring wife, and all these fat truckers here in the audience wish they had a woman like this. And I got 5 of them, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that mink coat right there, WWE sometimes brings out for access, and it's embroidered on the inside and it says RICK Flair. So even when he paid people tens of thousands of dollars for a fucking jacket, they still put a K on his name. And this is one of the more famous skits I thought they did to really kick this feud off. Steamboat just going crazy and ripping the blazer right off of Flair, but he's not done. He's going to tear his suit, his jacket, his pants, his shirt. He's going to get him down to his drawers here.
You know, Flair loved that.
Well, of course he does, but I'm just saying it does fit the character when you're out here saying you've got all these custom made clothes, blah, blah, blah. And you're sort of being a snobby, rich dick, for lack of a better word, and just sort of shitting on everybody. And then out comes a guy and he tears all those fancy clothes off. That's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So the story they're trying to tell is interesting because Flair is this flamboyant playboy who's, got the big cars and all the ladies and the fancy clothes and the world champion and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, the other guy the heel is telling us he's this boring old family man with a wife and a kid. That's going to appeal to a certain section of the audience. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure the women, and a lot of the married dudes feel like they have to cheer for Ricky Steamboat, but there's a lot of dudes who were watching who are like, well, fuck that. I want to be like that guy. I mean, Flair's sort of a cool heel here, almost accidentally.
Well, Ric Flair was always kind of a cool heel.
Well, but in this case, especially because they've got Bonnie coming out with Ricky Steamboat, the old formula was, you're a good looking top babyface. He can't have a good looking chick with him. It'll alienate some female fans. They need to think that they've got a chance and that he can be their man and blah, 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 all that silly old school thinking. But some of that stuff really worked for a long, long time. And now you've got him coming out, not only as this, badass wrestler, but a good looking dude, but he's got his wife and kid with him and talking about being a family man. And meanwhile, this other guy's naming his junk and giving everybody his hotel room number and talking about his fancy cars and his Rolex. And there's a lot of dudes who are like, well, fuck that. I want to be that guy.
Right.
And here he is. And this is our main event. This is the real reason we're watching this. There's a half hour or so left in this. It's only a 30-minute match or so, but it is one of the better matches of the year. Part one of a trilogy. And we're going to get a big entrance for Flair here. He's got a red robe on made by Olivia Walker. One of the more interesting ones because it has short sleeves. Now there's a long sleeve underneath it, but he never had another robe like this. So it's pretty interesting. It popped up a couple of years ago in the Ric Flair drip video as well. And I think there was a prototype and maybe an actual figure that was made of him wearing this particular robe, but not seen or used a lot besides a Rouge poster and a couple of promo photos. And there's the line of ladies who are at ringside.
How did he choose the robe?
I don't know how he picked for each time. I think it was just sort of whatever he felt. I think this is his wife, Beth, here handing him some roses. Yeah, that's Beth.
Yeah.
His second wife, Beth, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte Flair's mother. Going over to the corner, acknowledging his great close personal friend, Dave Meltzer. Give him a little winky woo. Make sure he gets 5 stars in this one.
A little winky woo. All right. I've watched this match.
We watched it together on Patreon once, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite matches. I can watch it again. I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. Absolutely love it. And I'm looking forward to it. But before this match starts, I have a serious question.
Oh shit.
No, I do. It's about this match.
Okay.
I love it. You love it. Meltzer loved it. All classic wrestling fans who love the sport like we do love it. My question is, and I think it's a serious question. It's not anything to say disparaging about this match. It's maybe saying more disparaging about the wrestling product today. Would this match play? Take out the fact that it's Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair, what we know today. Would this match play today?
Yeah, it would be a match that if it was on Raw or SmackDown, everybody would be talking about it for sure.
Really? You think so?
I do. Now, don't get me wrong. I know what you're saying, because there's maybe not enough acrobatics, but some of the best matches that they do, there's not a ton of acrobatics, and there's enough aerial stuff in this one from Steamboat to make it more modern. I mean, I'm not saying I would compare this to an Okada Omega, but I mean, look at that fast pin. I love the shoulder block and immediately going for the pin. It does add a little bit of realism. And this is 10 years before guys would do like chain wrestling and then get up and just pose at each other and the fans would clap like, hey, they did chain wrestling. We're supposed to clap now. And that became really in vogue in ECW, I think, is the first place I saw it, with like Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko, where the fans were really smart to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even that right there, I think is fun, where instead of doing the, the guy does the drop down and then runs over him. No, let's just drop down and turn it into a headlock right there.
Right. Trying to get the win quickly again.
It's very reminiscent, as many pinning combinations as he goes to. And I think this is underrated and maybe not talked about enough. You go back and you look at Ricky Steamboat's best matches, and without question, everybody says they're WrestleMania 3, and there you go, Brad Muster.
Right.
But they're WrestleMania 3 and his trilogy with Flair here in 89. But I think part of the magic is Steamboat has so many false finishes. From the minute the bell rings, he's trying to pin you. And so as those start to pile up, we're just a minute, 2 minutes into this, and we've already seen 2 false finishes because Steamboat's trying to pin him at every chance because he wants to be the world champion. That makes a ton of sense.
Yes, it does. And I still go back to, I'm thinking about Thanksgiving Day of 1981. I was in the stands when Flair and Steamboat were in the cage in the Greensboro Coliseum, and they did a 90-minute Broadway in the cage. And I'm thinking, that's the greatest Flair Steamboat match I've ever seen. But this one rivals them because Steamboat did such great, you said, it brings a little bit of realism. There was everything real about Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
From his chops to his facial expressions to the way he approached it. I mean, he was one of those guys, I've always talked about things that Magnum and I talked about as wrestling fans, the Hook. And the Hook was, to me, Steamboat. To him, it was real. And you believed him. And this son of a bitch, I'm not so sure if that's phony or if that's fake or if that's real or if that's planned. But I know Steamboat fucking, you believed him, man. And just a great story about, Steamboat, and had him on our wrestling show on 92.9 The Game out of Atlanta. And he had a great interview, had great stories for us. So I look forward to seeing him because he has some wonderful stories.
He's so good, man.
Yeah.
One of the more underrateds too, because, when you talk about some of the greatest of all time, I love that, by the way, when you try the drop toe hold and it doesn't work and then you have to muscle it in, you never see that.
Right.
So the story they're trying to tell here in this match is that Steamboat is faster and stronger because every time there's a shoulder block, Flair's bumping for him, and he just did a little baseball slide between his legs to show how fast he is. So, they're telling a fun story here. But what I was saying about Steamboat being underrated, and I know it's almost a joke online because I say, oh, Conrad says everybody's underrated. But I think Steamboat doesn't get his just due. People talk about, one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time is him and Macho Man. And then they talk about this trilogy of matches as maybe the greatest trilogy of matches ever. And of course, people are saying now that's been replaced by Omega and Okada, but still for 30 years, basically, it was regarded as being the best, or one of the best trilogies ever. And they talk about Macho Man. They talk about Ric Flair. I don't think they talk about Steamboat as much. And I've got to think some of that well, it's either, I want your opinion. Let me just not have an opinion and ask you, why do you think they don't talk about Steamboat in the same light?
I don't have an answer to that because When they talk about some of the greatest matches they've ever seen, Steamboat's been in many of them. But when you turn around and ask them, give me your Mount Rushmore great matches, they wouldn't put Steamboat on there, would they?
I guess to me, I wonder from your perspective, is because his career had so many stops and starts. Is it because he was never a heel? Is it because he wasn't necessarily a strong promo? I mean, when I say stops and starts and strong promo, I mean, some people who know him say, no, he wasn't ever regarded in that light because of Bonnie. They blame Bonnie, whether that's right or wrong. They say that he didn't have the longevity. He didn't have the consistency, and her coming, around and being on camera maybe cost him some momentum, and he was never able to really be as big of a star as he could have been.
Well, I don't think it's fair to blame her for that. And I'm sure some people do, but I don't think that's fair at all. I think you touched on something when the fact is he never was a heel.
Well, Sting was never a heel either. Do you think that hurt him?
No,
I'm not making that to argue. I'm just really, when I think of a guy who was never a heel though, it's always like Sting and Ricky Steamboat. And I'm not saying that you have to be a heel in order to be one of the all-time greats, but when you look at just in-ring work, like everybody says, oh, it's Ric Flair and it's Shawn Michaels. If Ricky hadn't taken a break, if Bonnie had never been on TV, if he had an opportunity to be a heel, would they be considered 1A, 1B, 1C?
Those are great questions.
I mean, I've never seen a Ricky Steamboat match that wasn't good. These guys, Flair gets a little hot if you keep pushing that these 89s are the best that they did, because he says the matches they did in the 70s fucking killed these. They weren't even close.
He's right.
But they were house show matches. They weren't taped. They're not just readily available. It's before the advent of pay-per-view. And he's like, no, the best matches I ever had with Steamboat, nobody saw except for the people in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, how great was the tease of him maybe going to the top rope and jumping on, and the entire crowd jumps up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen. But if that was to happen on Raw or SmackDown, nobody moves.
Right. This is phenomenal. And there's the gold belt, which it's going to be there, right? The same gold belt.
Absolutely.
Be at StarCast when they talk about this match, and just phenomenal stuff. And,
I know where that robe is too. I might get that there, and I have those red tights.
Wow.
I tried to find those green tights for Steamboat. I just thought that would be cool to frame together to commemorate this match.
And you couldn't find them?
Nah, couldn't find them.
Steamboat didn't have them. He didn't give you
He had a bunch of other stuff, but he didn't have these. Now, here's the thing. They're just plain green tights. So I appreciate him saying he didn't have them, because it would have been real easy to just get some old fucking green tights. Like, oh, this is them.
Yeah.
But it would have been a cool little piece to commemorate one of the best matches of all time.
It's one of these matches when you watch it and you're I consider old school. You remember why you loved the business. You remember what you loved about it. Steamboat, and much like a Ricky Morton was, could sell like nobody's business.
And here's what's fun about this match too. All of this is called in the ring. They know the finish and they know how long they're going. And this is before, the referee has an earpiece in. So they're getting time cues, locally there, ringside. But they've talked about what the finish is going to be. But outside of that, Flair's just calling it in here.
Right. It's the magic of the business that's gone now.
They broke down some of this match, or this, some of their chemistry as opponents, and Flair's ESPN documentary. And Steamboat has such a great line in there. He said, we were so comfortable with each other that he could just go like this. And Flair Steamboat just looks up, like up and to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, when Flair would look up like that, Steamboat knew exactly what spot that meant and where to go. They were just in tune, and they had that type of chemistry. And I think with any duo, whether it's a wide receiver and a quarterback, two professional wrestlers, a pitcher and a catcher, two morning show hosts, a comedy duo, whatever. when you've got that sort of chemistry with somebody where you just know what they're thinking and where they're going next without verbally communicating it, you're going to do well.
Greatest rivalry of all time, you think?
Well, I think, a generation later or a decade later, people would say that it would probably be Rock and Austin, because they had 3 matches and they were WrestleMania 15, 17, and 19. Mm-hmm. And I know you weren't watching then, but
I was not.
Most people would say, because it was your WrestleMania match, every other year. So 15, 17, and 19, that's probably it. But if you're an NWA fan, to me, it's this one. And as far as match quality, I don't think there's any comparison. I don't even think Rock or Austin would argue that. I mean, Rock and Austin were both fine wrestlers, but they were much more character driven. Whereas these guys were, trying to go out here and wrestle 45, 60-minute matches.
Interesting here. Flair's trying to call some spots here.
Yeah, he wanted him out here, and this is what they were looking for. A little more of a hard edge, and you're going to see it right here where he's chopping the shit out of him on the outside. And Flair didn't do this a lot. He didn't go outside and do a lot of this, but that's what the story they're trying to tell is, hey, this guy's too fast and too strong for me. I'm going to have to take it outside if I'm going to have a shot. Now, he's not really doing a lot while he's out here, but just the idea that he's out here and they're not doing something in the ring makes it look like Flair's a little desperate to get back in control here.
No question. Without question. Flair talking to Tommy here.
It's worth mentioning that as much fun as I'm having watching this and talking about it with you, if you've never seen this match, you need to watch it with JR doing commentary.
Absolutely you do.
JR makes this match, and I don't know that the match is nearly the same without JR on commentary because he had a big fight feel. And no disrespect to Magnum, but what could this have been if it were you and JR?
I appreciate you saying that, but I think the fact that JR had a very inexperienced color guy with him at this time really made JR pick up his game even more.
That's probably true.
It made JR better. And that's why we got, and I watched this earlier in the week before we did it, and I'm thinking, wow, fuck, how much better can you get at calling a match than this? And the answer is you can't.
Right. Is that Kevin Sullivan? I think Kevin Sullivan's in my living room.
Okay. Well, I got Kevin Sullivan here beside of me.
Boy, Kevin Sullivan's like the spirit of Santa Claus. He's everywhere.
It sure is. Actually, this Chihuahua, I think, is a little bit taller than Kevin Sullivan.
What about that little fisheye lens gimmick they're rocking on that ringside camera? Every now and again, it looks like, the corners are cut off. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So Steamboat's talked about how both of these guys were cardio machines. Of course, Flair was legendary for partying all night, but then being up first thing and on the Stairmaster and trying to outdo everybody. And Steamboat would talk about how these guys really made this a contest almost to try to blow the other one up to see if they could make the other guy look at Meltzer just pop for that big spot with Flair. It's so fun to watch Meltzer enjoy wrestling because so much of what me and you've talked about on this show is Meltzer, for lack of a better word, shitting on stuff and then getting you to respond to it. But here Meltzer is front row ringside, dead center with a pad trying to make notes, but he can't help but put the pad down and start clapping whenever there's a big spot in the match. Like this one, the figure 4 really applied for the first time. Of course, that's Flair's submission move that he almost never won with, but it gave him an opportunity to cheat and grab the ropes, and Tommy Young turned around just when it was too late.
The fans were standing when he went up top because and even the fans in the spotlight are standing up here too. And this is how you know you got some masters in the ring, because they have drawn you into this. They have absolutely, you're with them every way. And it goes back to the fact that in today's wrestling, it's got to be a high spot. It's got to be some sort of Ura Kanana. or some sort of flip flop and fly thing to get you excited about it. No, if you're telling a great story in the ring, you can draw them in, and that's what Flair and Steamboat have done here, and that's what they used to do everywhere. Look at Steamboat. Pounding. They finally showing Hiro Matsuda here. Look at Tommy. Just... This is so fucking cool. Hey, don't know if it's going to be as good as Michael Hayes and the Russian Assassin #1, but it's a damn good one. The old adage was you need to build up, right? You need to build up. You need to start with something. You need to start out slow and build up to your main event. I don't know if I've always bought that or not, but now Tommy saw it. He's going to call for the break. He's going to force Flair to break. And back in the day, Flair would push him. And then Tommy would push him back and Flair would take the bump. I knew a lot of people hated when Flair did that. When Flair would let Tommy push him down. Flair ever talk about that?
Yep. I know you don't like it, but.
Well, I didn't mind it, but I know of a lot of wrestlers who said the referee should never be able to shove a wrestler down. And I get that. I get that line of thinking. But Flair was always, he was in it for the pop, right? He wanted for the entertainment value of it. Had his fist up for a moment. Fuck yes, buddy. This match should be required viewing for anybody at the Performance Center.
Yeah, I agree.
I wonder if they do that down there.
Yeah, they do.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Somebody talk them through it, or they just said, sit down and watch this and tell me what you think?
I don't know, man. I do mortgages. What do you want from me?
No, right. You do mortgages, right? I'm Forrest Gump. I do mortgages and run StarCast 2 in Las Vegas coming up Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, you've heard about it.
Wrestling's like a box of chocolates. You want one piece, you get some more. If you guess what? If that piece of chocolate doesn't fill you up, maybe StarCast 3 will.
Oh my God.
Well, you were born in Greenbow, Alabama, weren't you? Watch out. Here's a pickup. Whoa. I shouldn't have said it like that. I shouldn't have said Greenbow, Alabama. I should have said Greenbow, Alabama.
That's the right way to say it.
Yeah. Now Flair trying to cover him up, a little false finish. So Ric Flair is 40 years old here.
You're telling his age.
Yeah. 1, 2. But hey, for 40 years old, man, he's as good as any of them. There you go. A little shove back. And that I don't mind. But when Tommy shoved him down is when there was a little heat backstage on that. But you know what? There was always professional heat. Egos, wanted to be on top. Pick up. Notice how Rick positioned himself when he covered him. He flipped over so he could get his feet on the ropes.
And now Tommy can't see that magically Flair has no legs.
Right. And I think it's great. It's great camera work. I think it's great because it's like fans are saying, he's got to be able to see that. What the fuck is going on? He's got to be cheating or he's got to be an idiot.
Well, one of those.
Mm-hmm. We had Tommy last year at StarCast and he was so much fun.
What do you think about these chops? If you had to get chopped, would you rather be chopped by Steamboat or Flair?
Oh, I'd rather be chopped by Steamboat.
Have you been chopped by Steamboat before?
No.
Why not?
Well, I've never said lay it in. I never, took off my shirt and said, hey.
Oh my God. I need to, can we just pretend for a minute that when you're trying to do some dirty talk with Lois, you tell her to lay it in? I just imagine you coming home, throwing your keys on the kitchen table and taking your jacket off and saying, Lois, I've had a terrible day today. I'm going to need you to lay it in.
We don't talk like that anymore, Conrad.
Well, you don't use wrestling terms around the house?
No, we don't. We're just, it's different. You'll, when you've been married as long as we have, you'll understand.
What do you mean?
Just different. Just,
how so?
There's no dirty talk around here. There's no.
That's not dirty talk. I said lay it in.
Well, if I would say that to her, she certainly wouldn't chop me. She would say, not tonight, son, or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
You think it is for you, but she would,
why don't we call her?
No, let's not call her.
Let me try to talk some sense into her.
Let's not call her.
You think I could sell it?
I appreciate your friendship, but please stop.
Why are you fussing at me?
Let's get back to this match. It's a great match, and we're talking about two old people
laying it in.
Okay, here we go, Steamboat. I don't even want to call this match because I don't want to. Here we go. Look at this. Fans are with him on this.
Look how excited Meltzer is.
Yes, sir.
Comes down with the single axe handle, going back up top for the second time, this time on the near side. Makes his way to the top. Flair turns around just in time, and there it is.
Yep.
The dreaded ref bump. He does the cross body, but he manages to catch both. I think that was probably the plan originally, but for whatever reason, Tommy wasn't in the right spot. But on the second one, he got him. So now Tommy is near dead. Flair rolls him up and grabs the tights, but there's nobody here to count. No referee in sight. That's a world title match. We got to get another referee out here. And what do you know? Peanut Head here to save the day. Teddy Long checking on Tommy Young. Now look at this for 1989. A third top rope maneuver coming here from Ricky Steamboat, and he misses. Flair too smart for it. Had it scouted. Now we go to school. Here comes the figure 4. Inside cradle. Peanut Head slides in. New world champion. But we've seen this finish a lot. There's a dispute. There's a down to ref. What are we going to see? The belt goes up and everybody realizes, no, it's really happening. Ricky Steamboat is your new world heavyweight champion.
They do to a certain extent. Tommy Young gets up, and here I'm thinking that Tommy Young's going to say, no, I saw him throw him over the top rope, right? Now Flair says, raise his hand. And that confirms it. Flair stepped in there, put his hand over his mouth, said, raise Steamboat's hand. And that confirmed it. Because I go back to the Gathering, or I go back to that time where Dusty Rhodes thought he had won it, and Tommy Young had seen thrown over the top rope. Remember that? And the next day on TV said, Flair is still the champion. So that Tommy Young raising the hand confirmed it and put the wraps on just a phenomenal match. Really did.
We've got a new world champion, and we're not even 2 years removed from his legendary match with Macho Man in March of '87 at WrestleMania 3. And JR here trying to explain what we've just seen. A real big moment because, at this point, Steamboat had been a U.S. champion and he had been an Intercontinental champion, but never the world champion. He just beat what everybody at this point agreed was the best wrestler in the world, Ric Flair. on a pay-per-view in Chicago. Pretty big moment for Steamboat and the NWA and WCW, right?
Very, very big moment. I started out this show by saying, here I am in Connecticut at this time, laughing about WCW, but I wasn't laughing about this because this was phenomenal. And now they're going to recreate the Hulk Hogan scene, right, with Andre the Giant, and they're going to bring in the champagne here. You ever had champagne sprayed on you, Conrad?
I have, yeah.
It burns like hell. It burns the eyes to the point to where it kind of ruined this interview here, because once Steamboat got it in his eyes, then it's like, oh, it's burning. Bob Caudle knows too, and Steamboat won't be able to open his eyes. But it's a great moment. It really is. And so Steamboat pours over his head and then realizes, oh, God, I shouldn't have done that. Bob, where are you? Bob? I mean, it burns like all get out. That's why you see guys right now, in baseball, the World Series, they wear goggles now. Keep that shit out of my eyes.
Are you saying it burns?
It burns.
So it burns a little.
Yeah. Why don't we do this?
There's a burning sensation?
What?
To me, the show was and then the main event was just killer.
Right.
What say you?
Great show. Great choice. It's a match I can watch again and again and again, really.
Well, you'll get to watch it again at StarCast because we're going to have the guys talking about it. It should be a good time. And I'm looking forward to what we're doing next week. What do you want to do next week, Tony?
Tell you exactly what I want to do, and I've been thinking about this, and you even brought it up. I said earlier, Steamboat and Flair, is that the greatest rivalry ever? And you said, well, a lot of the fans would think, the current fans would think it'd be The Rock and Stone Cold. I'd like to go back and watch a Raw during the Attitude Era. Because that Attitude Era, I was completely lost from the Attitude Era because I was working in WCW. And as I've told you before, I ignored what was going on there. But as we have gone along here, and as you have brought me back into this business, Forrest Gump, as you've brought me back and as you've got me interested in it again, I've watched some of Mr. McMahon against Stone Cold, and I've watched some of the other stuff that's happened. And there was some great shit. And there was some great shit that turned the tide. The tide was turned because, number one, we were the drizzling shits. And number two, they were doing some great stuff. So I'd like to go back and watch something from the Attitude Era. And I don't know if you may want to do a pay-per-view, but I mean, maybe some of the good stuff was on Raw. Just something that exemplifies that era and how great it was.
Well, let's do something that has been so requested that people are borderline mad at me that we haven't done it yet. Cause I haven't covered it on any show yet.
Okay.
But why don't we do WrestleMania 17, which happened just 6 days after WCW closed. So it's the first time that there is a WrestleMania with no ECW and no WCW in a long time. It's in Houston, the biggest WrestleMania ever. And the main event is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock.
Okay. You got it.
So that's what we're doing next week right here on What Happened When. Hopefully I didn't just sign up for a 4-hour show, but I think I may have.
You did.
But it will be a good time because, there's a gimmick battle royal,
right? An
old school battle royal of sorts. And Michael Hayes is in it and Bruce Pritchard's in it and Jim Cornette's in it. The Iron Sheik's in it. It's good stuff.
Yeah. It's the gimmick battle royal. I believe I remember it being called. And with the exception of my beautiful wife, Lois, I would not rather spend 4 hours than anybody else in the world, but with you. And I'll do that next week.
Well, I mean, if you'd rather, I could just get Cassio in here and then y'all could do Cassio's.
Stop. Would you stop it? You bruise so easily.
I bruise easily?
You bruise easily. It's, be a man's man.
All right. Well, anything else?
No, nothing else. Don't forget LoisRules.com and join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/WHW Monday. Having a great time. We've made some great friends and we're going to have them all. out in Huntsville, Alabama, coming up in the middle of March, even though Megan didn't know anything about it.
And then the next week, you and I are jettisoning off to Chicago, which should be a fun time. If you haven't already, make plans to see us. We're going to be at C2E2 doing a show, C2E2 After Dark. Look for our links on Twitter. You can find them at 83 Weeks for Eric and at WHW Monday for Tony. And you're going to get a super show because it's Eric Bischoff, it's Tony Schiavone, and myself. What happened when in 83 weeks? So coming together. This should be interesting because you guys don't like each other. Well, Eric doesn't like anybody, and you specifically don't like Eric. So this should be fun.
You fuck.
Well, you don't.
You know, I like Eric a lot.
Okay. Tell me your favorite Eric memory.
When he stymied,
okay. Give me one when he wasn't giving you money.
Okay. Okay. The night he got the job, Eric, Lois, Lori, and I went out to eat. Had a good time. And
then he changed and never spoke to you again.
Well, that was his problem.
Yeah.
I like it.
Tune in next week when we watch WrestleMania 17 for the first time. Tony, when I look at my clock, I realize it's about that time.
Hi, everybody. Tony Schiavone coming to you live and over here on table number 1. Well, here's Forrest Gump himself, Conrad Thompson, his beautiful wife, Megan, and they are sitting at the table with, it looks like Lois Schiavone, who is now on her, sweetheart, is that your 10th martini? Didn't you just get out of the hospital? Wait a minute. She's thrown down the glass. She is standing up. She is walking towards me. She's got both hands. She's going to go around my neck, and we are desperately out of time. We'll see you next week. The tape machines are rolling on What Happened When on the MLW Radio Network, as well as on
Patron.
Emotional considerations paid for by the following. Boxofgimmicks.com with new items each week. The official store of What Happened When, something to wrestle with, and 83 weeks. Log on right now. Get your gimmicks for the wrestling fan in your life or something for yourself. And by patreon.com/WHW Monday. Want to be a low-key big hog? How about a glass-bottom boat rider? What about a member of the Hot Tag Express or the Slapdick Nation? You can join Conrad Thompson and Tony Schiavone with bonus podcasts, behind-the-scenes videos, live weekly chats, and new content each week. And by LoisRules.com. Get your T-shirts from What Happened When right now. And by StarCast 2, coming to Las Vegas May 23rd through the 26th as part of Double or Nothing Weekend. Go to StarCast.com for more information.